calling down my name. Why don't you hear me wonder? Ooh, ooh. Oh, midnight highway, shining just like sin. Why don't you hear me wonder? Ooh, ooh. Tell me, river, where your current flows. Why don't you hear me wonder? Ooh, ooh. Oh, stop your freight train, let a lost man ride. Why don't you hear me wonder? Ooh, ooh. Fare you well, darling, ain't coming back no more. Why don't you hear me wonder? Ooh, ooh. Who been whispering since I've been gone so long? Freedom calling.
Is it working?
Yep, looks like it.
Program thing, why is it not showing you in here? Oh, it is. Okay, good. Yeah, the program changed its shit, so the screen's a little different, but whatever. Phil? What's your
Yeah.
Wakeman, right?
Wakefield.
Wakefield, sorry. Sorry,
Yep,
man.
all good.
Are you awake yet? What time is it over there?
Oh yeah, it's noon here.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
so I'm on the coast over here. You're on
Oh,
the
right on.
opposite coast, so
Yeah, yeah.
we're continents apart.
Yeah, no doubt. Hey, we were just talking about hunting for a second, and hey, and you know what? I would tell everybody, it's just us having a bullshit session. You know what I mean? Don't worry about the camera
Yeah.
crap. Anybody who wants
Yeah.
to listen, they can. I don't, and it's free. Let her rip. I don't give a shit what
Yeah.
you say.
No, that's one thing I love. I love that organicness about you and your channel. It's one of the things that like gravitated me towards, your channel, and How to Hunt Family. It's, just that honest,
No,
everyday people look,
yeah, right.
like that
Nobody's
are
nobody's
experienced.
spectacular here. Nobody's special.
Nope.
We're all equal,
I'm
man.
just an average guy. Just had some strange things that have happened.
Yeah. Hey, quick question before we get on that. PA, I had a buddy of mine. I guided a few people from PA. I've been to PA. I've been to the Poconos. You near there?
Mhm. Yeah, I was Central PA, closer to State College, Williamsport area. So Poconos would have been like, probably 2.5 hours east of me, maybe.
Okay. Then what's that ski hill around there?
Oh, there's a bunch of them. We have like, the one down there is, I think maybe the famous one is Camelback.
That's it.
Um,
Camelback.
Camelback, yeah. So I've been
Yeah,
there. I
yeah.
took my daughter there snowboarding. She used to snowboard, as a little girl. She was really good, and then she just got out of it and didn't have interest. But we're always into board sports. Like, so I grew up snowboarding, and now I'm a surfer down here on the shore since I live on the coast. So I surf and hunt and fish and
Surf. You surf
Yeah.
for the great white surf.
Well, we've seen sharks. I haven't seen a great white, but yeah, they're here. That's their world. So, we're in it. So it's something like, it's really like the Bigfoot topic, man. It's like, when I first started surfing, I was like super terrified of the shark.
No doubt.
Like
Yeah.
petrified of like anything in the water, right? Oh, what is a shark? I'm out of here. And then like, I'm a big fisherman too. So like I started targeting sharks and fishing for sharks and catching sharks. And then like when you catch them and you hold them and you take the hook out, you realize it's just a fish. All right. So, it's the fear is less when you realize what you're dealing with. That it's just literally a fish. It turns into, you definitely respect them, and what it's capable of. But yeah, you realize you're in their habitat, and it's just a fish. So things happen. They can be aggressive. You got to be careful. But at the end of the day, they're not out there just looking to eat you because you're there.
Yeah. Well, it's
So, yeah,
funny when you say that. When
yeah,
you say sorry, when you say it's just a fish, my brain goes to and then we look exactly like a top fly
I look like a
resembling a
seal
sea
out
lion
there.
for them, right?
Exactly.
It's funny, like so every year I always get, it's kind of comical to me. You'd see those Aussies down south and be like, you'd see the Australian news blast. Oh,
They're not-
crocky! Surfers were shocked when they saw a great white. I'm like, what the fuck's the shocking part? Are you serious?
Dude, they're another breed down there. They're another breed down there.
Yeah, we got one.
Yeah.
There's a big one off our coast right now, exactly where I fish right now. So
Nice.
they named it Kara, and they're tracking it on a tracker.
Nice. Yeah, once in a while they'll ping out. Usually, I don't think they've ever really pinged super close. There's a couple of bays they've pinged in once in a while. But usually the great whites, they like to stay farther off our coast.
Right.
Like they'll go up to Carolinas and then they'll kind of go out and then they'll come back up into like the New England area, and then they get like Cape Cod and stuff. They come close.
Yeah.
We're pretty good. A lot of like just sandbar sharks or dog sharks they call them, and
Oh yeah.
not,
We got
I mean,
lots of
there's
those.
some bulls, but yeah, it's pretty safe shark wise. So
You see that kid? You see that video, that viral clip of that kid on that paddle kayak in Australia, and that huge great white
Yes.
was trailing him
right
forever?
behind him, yeah, terrifying. I've had some things hit my legs in the water. I think the one was a ray. I stepped on it and it whipped my leg. Actually bruised my calf. That was terrifying.
Bruised? Holy shit!
Yeah,
That's
like it
that's an
tail whipped
impact.
me. And I was actually taking my wife out. She was kind of learning how to surf, and so I was pushing her out, and we were just outside the break zone. And I stepped down on something, and it was gushy kind of feeling. And I was like, and I moved my foot and stepped again, and I hit it again. And that time something whipped me and hit my right calf. Dude, I jumped up, put my hands over the board and my feet up, and I'm holding on to her. And I was like, what the fuck? And she's like, what's going on? She didn't know. I'm like panicked. And this was something just hit my leg, So I've had stuff where, I think it was probably a ray that I stepped on, and it whipped me before it took off, sitting there in the sand. But yeah, so and we've seen fins cut the water and stuff. So usually we'll just paddle out. Me and my boy, we surf together. So we'll just, paddle over, paddle out, and then,
That's how that dude in Australia got killed, isn't it? The race slapped him, but they
Yeah.
got that spike and it stuffed him right in the heart.
Yeah.
Fluke.
So, I mean, the ones here, I don't think have those, but I mean, I wouldn't want to mess with them, I mean, usually, like if I'm catching rays, they're the cow nose rays. I don't know if you're familiar with those.
No.
They're the majority of the ones we catch, but when I'm fishing for sharks, it's because I'm using bunker or I'm using finger mullet usually if I'm fishing for sharks, and like you'll catch rays because you're throwing your bait on the bottom, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they're bottom feeders, and rays are a type of shark.
Yeah.
But
Oh, really?
yeah, so like they're like pulling a giant wet carpet off the bottom, dude. I mean, it's crazy.
It's
They'll
like halibut.
fight and they run and they fight and they run. And I mean, I battled rays for almost an hour before huge rays. It's like they're a pain to catch, but it's still fun to catch stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we got there out here. We got this species called a skate.
mm-hmm.
just like a ray. They
Yep.
get freaking huge, and you're out there
Huge.
halibut fishing, and it can
Yep.
take forever to get them to the boat, and you know it's a skate because they don't have a head shake like a halibut. It's like, oh
Yeah.
god, come on, get
Well,
up here.
how would a halibut? Would that be like? Are they? Because they're like a. Well, so we have flounder here. So halibut are giant, right? Giant flounder, basically. Are they kind
Yeah,
of the same thing?
exactly.
They're pretty flat. You got to pull them up.
Yeah, well, think about halibut. People go, oh, it's like pulling a 4 foot sheet of plywood off the bottom. I'm like, yeah, it can be. And other times
Yeah.
it can be like hooking a rodeo bull in the balls
You're
and hold
running.
onto your rod. Same
Yeah.
thing, right? It just depends on the fish.
Sure.
Like sometimes we have to unhook from the anchor to chase them down. They're starting to school
Okay.
you.
Yeah, that's
But
awesome.
it's-
I've never caught. I never caught halibut. I've never been West Coast. That's bucket list. BC. I'd love to go to BC, dude. And like,
That's good. Or Alaska.
yeah.
BC, Alaska for fishing.
Yeah, I
Cool.
think me and my wife may do a 25th anniversary out to Alaska, trip. And
Oh, you gotta go.
yeah, I want to so bad. I
Have to.
want to do like a whole Pacific, Northwest, and obviously my affinity for the Bigfoot Sasquatch topic. I'd love to go to the Olympic National Forest and explore and just be in that world, man. It's just
Let's go sit in my backyard in a lawn chair at midnight.
totally would. I'm not like I always say, be careful what you ask for. Don't go opening doors that you can't close. But the subject is like, I've researched it so much and thoroughly over the years that like, yeah, some of the stuff it's just crazy to me. And I'm like a truth seeker. Like I just want answers. Like I want to know why. Just like this channel is like, you're a brother from another mother, man. It's like it's just, why are we being lied to? Why is the manipulation? What are these things? Why are they here? How they get here? Where they come from? I'm super inquisitive and like, I look at it like knowledge is power, and I want to have
Huge power. That's why we're not giving
power that I can as much as I can, and it goes to every topic, whether it's politics or anything, religion, it doesn't matter. I want to know, the truth, and unfortunately, man likes to manipulate everything for their own benefit.
Oh man, I'm over it. I'm so over it. Isn't it ridiculous?
Yeah, it's sickening. It's frustrating because it's like your average people, there's not a whole lot we can do, but seek for the answers for ourselves, and you gotta, I always say, like, I use the term filter feed, right? Like I filter feed information all the time, even no matter what topic we're talking about, Saturday or whatever, it's just like, I gotta like filter feed because you have so many fakes, you have, people that just want to get a name out there, or or there's this AI, like you just had your videos with AI pictures, and it's just like there's so much that's just you have to take everything with a grain of salt and filter through most of the stuff that's probably not legitimate, but then you do find the nuggets of stuff that's like there's something here, here's truth, this makes sense, and you can start to put the puzzle pieces together based off the data. And for like me, like my encounters, I never had like an eyewitness, a visual of these beings, but what I experienced is so, it's been experienced so many times by so many people over and over and over. And it's like, how can somebody from British Columbia have the same experience that I had in Pennsylvania or in Maryland? And it's just like there's got to be something to all this. There's no coincidences.
It's frustrating, man. Like Sarah gets kind of frustrated with me sometimes. She goes, you don't have to learn everything, Like, what you talking about, Willis?
Exactly. Sometimes it's exhausting because it's like, what do I do with all this information, right? And
well, I'm to the point now. I can't, if I have something to do where I don't need my ears, I put on the headphones and I'm listening to something as I'm working.
Yeah, same here.
I'm on to a whole bunch of shit. But like, as you probably know, as soon as you understand that this one topic is valid, and then your brain goes, oh, you lying sons of bitches. Oh, you greasy bastards.
Yeah. Yes.
Why?
Yep.
And then it just keeps getting broader and broader. And then you get more pissed off and more frustrated. And it's like, oh, you greasy sons of bitches.
Yeah,
so and that's why it's being suppressed, right? Because it kicks in your intelligent, the people who are potentially more intelligent He kicks their brain wide open, and then shit starts to get stirred, and they don't want that shit pile stirred,
Yeah,
right?
and I plug it in to what topic, whether it's UFOs or Bigfoots or politics or the powers that be that want to control, manipulate the economies and everything that's happening. Like there's a reason they don't want people to know the truth, because again, that's power. Power to the people, right? It takes all control and power away from them. And then there's probably things that they don't want to admit that's out there because it shows that they are not the elites. They are not in control. There is something bigger here, and there's things that are validated that they don't want to admit. And so
they sign up.
Yeah, they can't disclose that, right? So
yeah, they sign up to get in that club.
Oh, 100%, 100%. Yeah, you're in that for a little while. And they're like, hey, we got a proposition for you here. Sell your soul, and we'll.
Yeah, this is what you want in this club.
Yeah,
if they were honest for a minute, just at the gates, and be like, all right, well, just so you know, this is the parasite club, and if you're going to come in this club, you have to be a parasite and accept being a parasite, or you can't come in. Well, what's it worth for me? Then they're in. It's like here, we try not to go down this rabbit hole. Just the other day, I read that Tulsi Gabbard exposed a phone call and something else showing directly that Zelensky fired back millions of dollars into the Biden campaign.
100%.
Right? Get this one. So just the other day, Justin Trudeau, our little dirtbag up here that was basically blowing Zelensky online nonstop, said his payment was 300 and something a year, and when he finally got switched out, he was worth 30 million, and then all of a sudden he jumped to 360 million dollars he's worth. So there you go. That's what you get when you jump through the gates of the parasitic system, right?
Yeah, it's terrible. I mean, it's just I consider myself a conservative guy. And my values and things are just the corruption and lies and every aspect. I mean, you go down that road of political, it's a nonstop, shit show.
And then but the tools they use, like when I was a kid, I mean, I've been aware of bullshit for a long time, probably because of my having to raise myself and protect myself, basically, right? And seeing, you protect yourself and see who's valid or not, whether you're safe or not, from a young age and cluing in. And I remember thinking, holy shit, there's got to be a recipe that so many people have the recipe on how to train human beings, and it's no different than the recipe to successfully train a horse, train a dog, train a zoo animal, anything. And there is a recipe to control us. Without a doubt, I was aware of that when I was a kid. And I always thought, there's a training recipe going on here. And then you look like today, now that we've got the internet and we can all talk to each other around the world, and I find they're getting a little more desperate in their tactics when you just look back out of the bubble and look at what the majority of people are arguing about online. And it's like, oh my God, really?
Yeah, it's petty. It's stupid. Yeah,
really?
It started like with, I guess, probably, TV and, I was born in 81, I'm 44. So it was, I remember us at TV, but I remember not having internet, and stuff. And then, as time progresses and as technology advanced, people got more dumb. And, everybody's got their head buried in that phone, that little black box. And it can be used for such good, but most people don't have two brain cells to rub together anyway. So it's amazing how literally, I hate to say it, but dumb people actually are. Like they're so dumbed down, and I always say they just want to be made comfortable in their dysfunction. And it's just like, wow, just on the phone, I just scrolling, and anything of that literally, unless it directly somebody comes to their house and takes their car away or, takes their house keys away, then they're like, oh, that affects me. But it's amazing how much freedoms they'll give up, how much, bullshit just goes on that they're just so complacent to. And you're like, didn't you know about this? And no, this is a pretty big deal. This is going to affect you. It's going to affect your kids. Did you know what the school district is doing? Do you know what they're doing to your kids?
Absolutely amazing.
Permission, all this stuff. And they're just, complacent, and it's crazy. And again, when the masses are dumb, you can control them.
Well, isn't it amazing too? You got kids, right?
Yep. I have a
Is it
boy and a
crazy
girl.
when you watch those little suckers starting to mimic,
Oh yeah.
right?
Now, I thank
And then,
God we raised some good ones. Now, my boy's a senior. He'll graduate. He graduates in like 2 weeks, and my daughter's she's a senior in college, at
right.
NC State. So she's yeah, and they're great. I mean, great kids. Like I mean, I pretty much deprogrammed them from all,
Perfect. But
school and
yeah, yeah. Well, the point I was getting at is when you watch those young children when they first start to mimic us, and you think, oh, it's so cool, and they're at that stage when they're mimicking, and now it's like, holy shit, we mimic all the way. A lot of humans
oh
don't
yeah,
lose it, and they mimic all the way to the end. Just look at social media, what people are doing and
yep,
mimicking the shit. It's like, oh
yep,
my God, how did you get there? How did you get the majority of the herd there? You dirty
yeah.
bastards. How did you do this?
Well, I always say like Facebook is fake book, right? Everything on Facebook is fake. Like you only see one side of everybody's life, and it's always this perfect, no problems, no issues. You don't see the dark underbelly,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah.
always fake smiles, selfies and all this. Look how beautiful I am. Look, give me the likes. Like it's all fake, and that's one thing I cannot stand is people that are fake. I love genuine individuals. That's why again would attract me to you and this channel.
Assholes. You like assholes,
Yeah, I've been called that many times,
right?
so
Honest people are
yeah,
pricks. That's all there is to it.
honest people. So yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's
So
crazy.
what did you? Okay, one more question before we get onto this. You guys
Yeah.
got some monster elk running around there, don't you? Somewhere?
So in PA there are huge elk.
Yeah.
I'm in Maryland now. I moved to Maryland about the Eastern Shore of Maryland about 15 years ago or so. But grew up in Central PA, and then yeah, in North Central PA, they had an elk herd they introduced, and you weren't allowed to hunt them. And so of course they got big, right? And I mean, I'm talking world class Boone and Crockett
Monsters.
monster. I mean, sick monsters.
I thought this was a
Um,
draw.
so now then it turned into a draw,
Yeah.
and it was a very low draw when it first started, like very low. And then they designate an area you could go to, and it was super controlled. It's been they do more tags now they draw than what they used to, but it's still very controlled. Like they basically are like you can go in this block of woods with your tag and good luck. You know what I mean? And it isn't you're free reign to go out and explore and go after them. They still control it pretty
Yeah.
hard.
Well, I
But
remember my buddy in the Poconos, he goes, yeah, they finally came out with the draw, and guess who got the first tag? And I'm like, who? The governor.
yeah, yeah,
Oh, weird.
exactly.
And then the next year, I think it's the governor's kid or something got it.
Yeah, yeah, and the bull tags they give away they used to be very few. They give them obviously more cow tags, but yeah, I mean there's some. I mean just monsters. Definitely
Monsters.
world class.
Shit that you don't want to run into when you're hunting.
Yeah, but there are book bulls up there. I mean I've seen them. It's a little town up there. It's called Benazet, and it's in the literal middle of nowhere. I'm going to talk about Bigfoot country. It is totally that, and it is. There's nothing up there, and I think it's Bradford County is the county that Bradford, and it's Upper Clinton, Tioga County. So they're like the counties that elk are in. So that's like it's not quite to the New York state line, but you're getting up there
Oh, yeah.
in the state. So you're central, like north central.
Right.
Where
Have
the
you seen
herd-
those elk that I getting on the cameras here on the
Oh
island?
yeah, oh
Oh,
yeah,
my
dude.
God.
It's one thing I've never hunted yet, but I want to. Like I'm love my turkey hunting, and that's one thing I'll get into here about my background in the outdoor industry.
Sure.
But I love my turkey hunting, and I like it because I enjoy the conversation I can have between an animal, and I know what it's saying, and I'm talking back to them,
Well,
and
turkey and elk are the same thing.
the same thing exactly. And I love that active style hunting and being able to reach out and talk to them and stuff. And we have on the shore here, we have sika deer, And I don't know if you're familiar with those. They're like
Yeah, yeah.
those.
I was
Yeah.
wondering about that. I seen some videos somewhere where
Yep.
there are these people shooting shit. I'm like, what the hell? That's in the
Yeah.
States? Those are no way. Yeah,
Yeah.
where are those things?
So they're over in like Dorchester County. Is one of the main counties. Like yeah, Wacomico County has some of them, and even in Worcester County there's some, but um, mainly in Dorchester County, they have them as like mid-shore, Kent Island, stuff like that. But they're little stags, and they're basically baby elk. They're about the size of a goat. You know,
Really?
stags will probably go, I don't know, 80 to 100 pounds, and
No way.
females, which are called hinds.
Yeah, yeah. Heinz and
Um,
Stags.
yeah, hind stags. So the hinds go maybe 40 to 60 pounds, on the
Wow.
hoof. Yeah, so they're not real big. I've only ever killed a hind. I've yet to kill a stag. I killed a hind with my bow. Um, so it's cool. It's a cool experience, and they bugle. They bugle just like elk, and
Who
stuff.
put them there?
They're Asian. I know that that's originally where they come from, and I don't know. I mean, they've been here for decades.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know exactly the history of how they were introduced. I think it was kind of accidental, and then they just populated, repopulate, and you know, they end up having a herd, and then they have a season. It's the only way, as far as I know, other than you go to like, ranches in Texas or somewhere for, you can get,
Anything.
Sika or fallow deer or whatever. But
Everything.
like to hunt them in their in their habitat. That's the only place I know you can do that.
New Zealand,
In the States, yeah.
Australia.
But we get, because of that, like it gets just mob scene with like out of staters, and especially on all the state land and public
Oh, yeah.
lands, so it's just
Somebody
mob
probably
scene.
started ranching them for meat at first, just like everybody else, and they
Well,
escaped, and
yeah,
then it was
like
game
I said,
on.
I don't know the history, but I know it's been, it's cool. It's notoriety. It's cool. They call them marsh ghosts. They're very hard to hunt. I mean, they literally live in phragmites, man. Like nasty marsh, uninhabited. You can't even walk in there, and that's where these things live. And that's what they taste like. They taste like the marsh.
Oh, they do? They're not good?
I mean, they're okay. I mean, some people are probably like, "Oh, it's amazing," the one I had, it was just okay. I think venison's better, but
Whitetail's
um,
pretty good, man.
yeah, whitetail's pretty good. So like, yeah, I don't know, teach their own. But it's cool. It's a cool experience. It's a cool hunt. It's a cool. Not everybody gets to do that, especially East Coast, or you go out west, you got all kinds of different game you can go after. East Coast, whitetails, turkeys, maybe a bear. You
So
draw
many
for an elk
people out
tag.
there.
Oh, it's crazy.
Holy
It's
shit. How
insane.
many millions of hunters in Pennsylvania?
Dude, it's an army. It's literally an army.
Yeah, there's like
It's
regular body counts for the opening weekend or something, isn't
yeah,
there?
it's insane. And I mean, as for me, like I never had our own ground, so I always had either permission on property or was hunting state ground. And so yeah, I'm a product of like being in that, and that's one of the things I've learned to be successful at on the state ground is finding the pockets, finding the areas that nobody wants to go, and
Yep.
that why the game want to go there. When they're in there, like, what am I looking for? I'm looking for my travel routes. I'm looking for my pinch points. I'm looking for bottlenecks, whatever, and hunt my sign, and yeah, and then obviously trail camera use, and then making targets.
Yeah.
Bucks who target gobblers or whatever.
Probably makes you sick seeing the land I get to hunt.
Oh, it's crazy, dude. I'm so jealous. Like it's
Yeah.
PA. I think we had like mountains that were like, I don't know, 2,000, 3,000 foot in elevation. So you're like, ours would be hills to you.
I know. My buddy took me to that camelback skier. He goes, "You want to go skiing?" I'm like, "I don't want to be insulting, but no, I'm good, man."
Yeah, yeah. Like, what is that? That's a hill. Like, I walk that, no
Yes.
problem.
This is the bunny hill. What?
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
this is everybody from New York and DC. Everybody comes out here. I'm like, oh.
It's crazy though, man, because now me living on the Eastern Shore of Maryland, like there's no hills. It's all flat, right? So even when I go back, because we still have family in PA, so we go back to PA and I go back to even those mountains. It's like, whoa, like mountains. My daughter's in North Carolina, and I'm like, man, they got some mountains down here. And it's like, yeah, they're nothing compared to like, out west, the Rockies and all
Yeah,
that.
the
So,
Rockies are something else, man.
yeah, someday I get to
Something else.
see that, but
So let's get into when'd you first become aware there was something else going on out there?
Yeah, so like as kids, growing up in Central PA, like my mom was always like a star watcher, like night watching, looking for shooting
Really?
stars. Yeah, and like there'd be, she would find out that there's, I don't know, what do you call it whenever you have the meteor showers? There's a meteor shower going on, and so we go out in summer or whatever, warm weather, and throw blankets in the yard and we watch stars. And then it kind of just became a thing as like we got older, and I'd say like I graduated in '99, so I've been 18. So like you go back into like early '90s, 12-ish, 10, 12-ish. We'd be laying out watching stars at night in the summer, and we've heard coyotes, we've heard all kinds of animals, and there's this animal that we thought would travel the ridge line behind our house, and it was you're looking at, it was two mountains, and they made kind of like a V shape, and they were probably that like 2,000 foot elevation, and this thing would scream and walk the ridge line, and it was like he was on like what's like the military crest, right? He's not whole way at the top, but he's just down from the top and walking that and screaming. And just
How far away?
from our house, it's pretty far. It's pretty far. So like it's walkable. Like me and my brother used to walk up there and hunt as we got older. But it's a hike. I mean, you're probably 2 miles, 2.5 miles from the house. Yeah,
Wow.
and you'd have to go across, like fields, and then there's some houses, and then you get to the base of the mountain, and you have to climb up the mountain.
And you can hear this
And
thing loud and clear.
oh my word, that so loud it scared us to death, and we would
Whoa.
just grab everything and run inside. And it's funny because looking back, like us as kids, even as adults, like my sisters, there's five of us, three sisters and my brother, and then myself, and we never talked about it. We were never like, what was that weird? We just, I guess, assumed it was like a coyote or something like that, or I don't know, because we were too young, and I didn't we didn't really recognize the sound. We just knew it was really terrifying, and we didn't like it, and we ran inside. So as I started to, develop my love for the outdoors and hunting, I started getting into game calling and learning all the animal sounds. And I actually worked for a game call company, and I competitively turkey called for NWTF and contests and all. I went and traveled around, did outdoor shows, and that whole world. So like, I knew animal noises, and this was something that I thought back on it. Like no idea what this thing was. No idea. It was a cross between sort of like when a fox scream, but it was more guttural and more shrill and way louder. Just literally blood curdling screams. And like I said, we didn't stick around. Every time it happened, we went inside. And so it wasn't like, oh, okay, well, let's see what this thing is and try and figure it out. And I'm going to record it or what. And, you're going back in the 90s. So we weren't even, we didn't even have technology like phones or anything where we just pull.
And that was a couple miles away, and it made you run on the
Oh,
house?
yeah. Oh, yeah. And I mean, it was clear as day on this ridge line. That's what I'm saying. It was so loud. And
And your mom heard it?
my mom heard, I think, one time, if I remember right, we were all out there, and then we all scattered. And every time it did it, we all scattered for the house. Like we were in, because we don't know what this thing. It was just terrifying. And so then, like, come forward. I'm probably like 15, so you can hunt when you're 12 legally in PA. And I was probably 14 or 15 at this time, and I was hunting deer down from our house on a piece of ground that our neighbor owned and had permission to hunt. And it was a finger. This was the message or the email I sent you. This story. I was hunting this finger, and it was like briars on both sides. There were apple trees in the middle. There was like a couple kinds of apple trees. There was crab apples. There was like green apples, some red apples. It was an old orchard that was there. Long, I mean, probably 50 years past, maybe 100 years past. So it's all overgrown, and this finger came down through, and there was a stream in there, and it was hidden from the outside. You couldn't see in here, and the deer were just crushing these apples, and they had cover and concealment all day. They could literally stay in there and eat all day. Nobody would ever know they're in there, and they got water. I mean, it's just perfect. The tracks and sign that were in there, just it looked like a cow pasture with deer hoofs all around these trees and in the mud and stuff. And I was like, man, I found a spot. I'm like, definitely kill a buck in here, maybe at least does. And so I was like, this is awesome, you know. And I'm not far from my house. And I was like, I'm coming in here, set up. So I came in, made a ground blind because there's no good trees in that spot. No big trees, nothing to put any kind of tree stands in. So I was making a ground blind, and I was literally kind of in the brush of there was briars around me, and I kind of brushed it in and stuff. And I was going to hunt the next morning. And so next morning comes, I get up super early. I want to get in there, and I want to beat any deer that could be coming out of any of the fields and funneling their way up through, because they would leave the fields really early because, you know, people going to school and work and stuff, they would come down their drives and it would tend to kick the deer off the fields or even some of the yards. So I was like, I want to get in there early. I got in there, dude, like an hour early, like before daylight. And I had my bow, it's all camoed up, scent controlled, you know, I'm doing everything right. I had one of those metal folding seats. It's like the tubular aluminum with the camo seat, and has like a nylon strap you sling over your shoulder. And I had a flashlight, and I go in there, I get all in there, I sit down, and I'm just waiting for daylight. Let everything get calm, and I'm sitting there. I might have been there, I don't even know now, like 20, 30 minutes, you know, just waiting. And I start hearing that thing scream.
No.
And it's, so like I'm facing this way, and it's out. So that finger woods runs up and hits a bigger parcel, and then it runs up a hill. It's all woods, but there's a ridge line, and that ridge line circles the whole way back and goes up to the mountain where we always heard this thing walking. And so I'm sitting
You heard
there,
it walking?
while screaming, as we could tell.
All right, moving and calling.
Yeah, we could tell it was moving and calling. So I hear this thing screaming, and it's out there a ways. You know, it's not super loud, but it's like, oh my goodness, that's that thing, right? Terrified me. And so I'm like, okay, well, whatever. It's out there, like, fine. You know, I really want to hunt this spot, you know. And, you know, it screams again. A little bit closer, maybe it's just facing me now, you know, because it turned its head, and maybe it's projecting its sound towards my direction. Whatever, sit here, it does it again. And it's like, this goes on for, you know, 5-10 minutes, and I can tell it's closing ground. Like it's coming my direction. And so I'm starting to get a little bit more unsettled, but I'm just like, you know, it's okay. It's probably just some animal, whatever. I don't know. And as it's getting closer, it's getting louder, and it's terrifying me more and more and more. And I start pondering in my head, how does this thing know I'm here?
Right.
Because it's dark. I have no lights on. I'm camouflaged on the ground inside of brush. So literally, I can literally have holes that I can shoot through. I brush this in. Like this thing's coming from hundreds of yards away on a V line to me. Like, how does this thing? So I'm starting to like question this stuff in my mind, and it's within 100 yards, and yeah. I'm like just absolutely terrified of what this thing is. I'm thinking maybe a cat, but I don't know, because I don't know this sound, and it's just blood curdling screams. And so this thing keeps coming, and it's now within, you know, 50 yards. And like I said, dude, it's coming on a line directly to me. And I'm like, what knows it? You know, what is possibly knows that I'm here that can come to me like that? And so at this point, I have to get the flashlight out, and I have to start scanning the woods, because this thing is right here. Yeah, dude, it's right here. And it lets out a scream at, you know, like 40 yards.
Ooh.
And dude, I'm trying to pick up eye shine. I cannot pick up eye shine. And I'm listening for sticks breaking or cracking or leaves rustling or anything. I have nothing. And it's crazy because I really, at that moment, I didn't know really what to do or how to interact. I have my bow, but I can't shoot anything. It's dark. I'm kind of helpless at this point. And I'm kind of hoping it goes away. And it started, obviously it screamed again, but this time it's closer. It got probably about, from the sound of it, I'm guessing maybe 20 to 15 yards away from me. Yeah. Maybe closer, dude. It was the last time it screamed. I get goosebumps just thinking about it. Last time it screamed at me, and it was directly facing me. It was right on top of me, and I was shining. I had a broad flashlight too, and I could pick up there was no visible entity, body, animal, eye shine, and I'm looking for eye shine at the ground level. I'm looking at it, at a deer height level eye, us, the human level eye shine. I can't get eye shine on anything, and there's an apple tree right there, and then there's nothing, and it's literally by the apple tree. And I'm like, I swear it's right on that apple tree. And I got nothing. And when it let out its last scream, I yelled, "Get out of here." I mean, I 15-year-old kid, I get out of here. I was terrified.
No doubt.
My blood was like ice in my veins. I remember that distinctly. I had this rush of like cold blood in my body. And I screamed, and I just grabbed all my gear. And I ran down through all the briars. I didn't even care. I was ripping stuff. I don't know how I didn't lose anything. And I got down to the hard road, and I ran full throttle up the hard road up to my house. And I never went back to that spot ever again.
No doubt.
Never went back there. And then it was funny because even like driving down there, as weird as this sounds, like when I'd drive down the hard road from where I would come down out of that, when I ran down, I wouldn't even look up in there. Like I couldn't even make myself look over there to like look. That's how like terrified I was of whatever had literally somehow V-lined to me, knew I was sitting there camouflaged in a brush pile in the dark, and was screaming at me the entire time. And obviously I didn't have any idea of the Sabe or, any of this world at that age. I had no idea that there may be things out there that go bump in the night that we don't even know about, right?
Not supposed to be real. This isn't supposed to be real.
Yeah, like, and so like me being in the outdoor industry and learning, all the calls I could and operating the calls and then started making calls, I never, to this day, I've never heard that call by a wild animal.
Yeah.
And all my experience and all my time spent in the woods, and then, watching other people, no matter where they're at, West Coast, East Coast, middle United States, doesn't matter, Canada, Mexico, it doesn't matter. I've never heard anybody, other than people, having experiences saying about that they have this type of experience, that happens to them. And
Did you ever talk to Fish and Game or the cops or anything around there?
No, I never. Like I said, I at that age, nothing of that like ever registered with me. Like to think that it was some paranormal or something other than the norm. Like there had to be a rational explanation for this, right? It was against everything I was ever learned or taught or explained to or what's out there. Like so, like my mind never even went to that place to think that it was, probably something other than like, I couldn't figure out why I couldn't see this thing. I couldn't figure out why I couldn't get eye shine. I couldn't figure out how did it know I was here? How did it V-line to me from, 1,000 yards away, and there was questions that I had that, I never got answered to.
Right.
Obviously,
Could a human mimic that call? Was there enough air in a human's lungs to pull that off?
Maybe. You wouldn't be able to keep it up for the length of time that it did without completely losing your voice.
There you go. Yeah, so I was getting at.
But yeah, it just, unless they were wearing night vision, in 1990 93, like coming down across there, a piece of property nobody's supposed to be in that I have permission to be in. And it's just, there's nothing out that direction where this thing came from.
That'd be a suicide mission anyway.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, again, it's completely out of the norm when you try to rationalize, well, could it have been a guy? Like, would he just been messing? Well, he would have no idea that I was there. He would have, and why would he come from 1,000 yards away screaming to walk? Like, nobody would do that, and it's just, so again, to rationalize it, it's like it does nothing made sense, right? So it's just like, okay, that's just a super bizarre, thing. I always say like it's high strangeness, it's just high strange. I can't explain it. It's just super strange, And then
lucky, again, what? And then add that. Imagine having to add on to that. Now add on something 8 or 10 feet tall, pacing you and chasing you all the way home, but not quite catching you.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If I actually could lock eyes on it, and then go into the paranormal side of it, do they cloak? Was this thing cloaked? Obviously I believe in the frequency stuff, and I tend to be in the camp of that they possess abilities that we don't.
Absolutely.
And I'm definitely in the camp that they the mind speak, they operate in a different frequency that, our eyes can pick up, their abilities, portals, stuff like that. Like, I'm totally in that camp.
Well, the people have proven that.
Yeah, exactly. And I used to be, when this first came out, I was like, oh, Giant Pithegus route, and the Meldrums and the other people, and
mainstream control there.
Yeah, and I didn't know, right? I didn't know any better. And then that's me taking information and educating myself, and then learning from other people and
not being a herd animal.
Yeah, like something's not right here. Like this doesn't add up. Like this is, there's something else happening here. And then like that experience for me was like, well, I know every night animal out there has eye shine, and this thing was right on me and there was nothing there. Like I'm just looking at an empty space in the woods and there's nothing there, but it's screaming. It's right there, So, was it cloaked? I don't know. That would be where I would land to be, if it was, that would be an explanation, that I could, okay, now that makes sense to me, right? Where a lot of this other stuff doesn't make any sense. So, it's crazy. So that happened that was like maybe 95, 93. And then in the early 2000s, I had a weird experience. I don't know if it's a Sasquatch experience, but it's a high strangeness experience. I was hunting a remote piece up in the mountains, and the only way into it was across a creek. And the creek was maybe 100 yards wide, probably 3 foot deep. So you need a canoe to get across it. Or what I did is I came down from the mountain up above and came down a switchback, little logging road switchback down. And there was a big oak flat about 3/4 of the way down off the peak of this mountain. That was just awesome. Just screamed, bucks coming through this big bench of white oaks. And it was rifle season, PA rifle season. And so I was like, I'm going up there, I'm going to hit that bench, and I'm going to sit on that bench. So I came down the switchback, made it down to that bench. And so I hunted it for a while, and it was like mid-morning. I thought I'm going to get up and just go down to the bottom, because down at the bottom of the mountain by the creek, there was an old, I don't know if what the field was down there, if when they timbered that side off, that's maybe where they pulled the trees down to, and they use it as a landing. I'm not sure. It'd have been a long time ago, but I thought I'm going to work my way down to that bottom and just see what I see, still hunt my way down and see, maybe I'll kick something up, maybe I can see something, because, I enjoy still hunting, because most times, if you're good about it, you can get a shot off. So, and it's kind of a skill I've you got to develop it, but, it can be beneficial, especially when you're rifle hunting. And so I'm still hunting my way down to the bottom. So I get just down off the bench, and there's a big ravine with a stream going down to the big creek. And I don't know if any of your viewers have ever came across any of this stuff before, but I came across a patch of overturned dirt that was probably, 3 foot wide by maybe 4 foot long, and an almost perfect rectangle. And I'm talking like you took a shovel and you overturned the dirt, and you overturned the next scoop, and you made this perfect rectangle overturned dirt. And I sat and I stood at this thing, and I was like, what in the world am I looking at here? Like, and the leaves weren't on it. It was relatively fresh.
Weird.
And it really perplexed me as to what I was seeing. And I was like, I'm in the middle of nowhere. There's nobody up here. Like, this isn't, you don't go up there to dig a hole. You don't, like, this is like super strange to me. Why is this turned over dirt here? And, it
What were the
wasn't like
dimensions?
was that?
What were the dimensions?
Like maybe like 3 foot wide by like maybe 4 foot long.
Oh, sorry, you already said that.
Yeah, it wasn't huge, but it was definitely noticeable. Like, and it was multiple spots where it was turned over to make this almost perfect rectangle shape.
But it wasn't a shovel.
Yeah, I don't know. It's super weird. And so I end up going down to the bottom, and I notice as I'm coming down, I see 2 tents. I'm like, okay, that explains the dirt turned over. Maybe they, were shitting in a bucket, right? And they took it up there and they buried it, or I don't know. Like, so I'm like, and I get my binos out and I'm looking down there because I want to go down that bottom, but I'm like, okay, so maybe guys came across the creek and they're making a base camp there, and they're going to hunt out of that. They're hunting out of their camp. Makes sense. And so I get looking at the tents, and they kind of just look a little disheveled. And I'm like, this is weird. So I'm just going to make my way down there and just see what it is. So I go down off the top, and I come down into the side of the camp. And as I get closer, I'm glassing it the whole time because it just feels weird. Something is just off about this whole thing. My hair is just standing up. And so I'm looking at the tents, and I can see that they have like mildew and stuff on them. Like, and one side looks like it's kind of caved in. I'm like, these things have been here a little while. This isn't an active, base camp kind of thing. So I go down and I just want to check it out. So I go down into that camp, and dude, it was like the people that were there just up and left. I'm talking their bags were there, their suitcases were there, their backpacks, their clothes, cooking utensil, food, the tent, sleeping bags, sunglasses, flip-flops, everything.
What?
Dude, everything. Now, it had been there, I would guess, since maybe summer. But I'm like, what the heck would have made people up and leave so fast that they left everything? And then I was like, did they bury a body up there? And then that dirt turned over? Was like, what in the world would have made people literally bring in, hundreds of dollars of gear?
What kind of tents?
What's that?
What kind of tents?
Just the vinyl pop-up, like 2-3 person sleeping tents.
I guess it wasn't like wall tent, canvas wall tents.
No, it wasn't wall tents. It was just, your standard camping tent you get at Walmart or something.
And they're still standing.
Still standing. Yeah, one was kind of collapsed, but yeah, they were still up. Sleeping bags were in them. And, things were disheveled. You could tell, like, probably animals came in there and kicked some stuff around. But, it was a campsite of all their goods. Down to their sunglasses and flip-flops. I'm like, why would their shoes still be here? Like, why would you leave in such a hurry? You left shoes here. Like, and I'm thinking, were somebody out here doing, drug running, or like, I don't know. It was in a spot that's like, it's very rural, it's very remote, and it's very hard to get to. And again, it was one of those, for me, it was one of those, like, this doesn't make any sense. But there was something very ominous about that place, and I felt like I can't be here. I got to leave this area.
Creepy.
And, very creepy. And so
How many people do you think?
What's that?
How many people do you think?
Well, thinking back, I don't remember how many sleeping bags were in the tents, but there was 2 tents. So, at least 2, maybe
Right.
4, and, yeah, it was, clothes strewn out. It was, coffee pots on the campfire. Just food, like dry goods, cans. There was like oatmeal.
Have a firewood pile?
Yeah, everything.
So, do you think it went through a full season of weather over it, or how old do you think it was?
I want to say, so rifle season is in November. after Thanksgiving in PA. So I estimate everything probably that summer was probably when the camp was set, and then whatever they left it, it probably was everything sat there until that November. So it went through, whatever 4 months or whatever of weather, and things weren't that deteriorated, but it was, you could tell it still had the weather on it, and it was just super strange, dude. It was like I just felt like it's weird. So I actually did try to do research to see if hikers went missing. Talked to the DNR up there to see if they knew about anything. I actually called them and talked to them if they knew anything about like that something happened at a campsite. And there nothing. Nobody had any information about any incidents that had happened in regards to that. And I made them aware. It's like, just let you know that that's up here.
Right.
If somebody wants to go check it out.
Would that be freaking crazy if they were listening to us talk right now and then they got a hold of me?
That would be awesome, because then I would be like, I want to know all these years why they just up and left.
That'd be crazy, and then they tell us an absolute shitty and crazy story.
That would be crazy, but it would be awesome,
Yeah.
So
I found a camp like that one time.
Just abandoned?
Yeah, I was guiding bears on the coast here on the mainland, and it was right in Sasquatch frickin' Central, like basically not too far away from the valley where that Albert Ostman got kidnapped.
Okay.
And I had this bear hunter. We're like wound my way up this old deactivated. Like my truck, I don't give a my truck is just an oversized quad. You're gonna get it scratched. I don't care. This is what these things are for, right? So we're bashing my way through this old road where the willow's just almost too thick growing in to drive, but not quite. I don't give a shit. And we go in there and I'm like, oh, what's this? And I look down and here's somebody's full tent camp. Like I said, chairs, everything, but it was all shredded and left there. So it had been there over a full season for sure, with snowpack on top of it. But same thing, man. Somebody just absolutely pulled the pin and got out of Dodge and never came back.
That's exactly what it seemed like. Like someone pushed the panic button and bolted and just go and just left out. We weren't getting anything. And I mean, there was some nice gear that was there. All their cooking utensils. I'm talking. There's probably hundreds of dollars in gear that was just up and left.
Did you ever go back?
Did I go back to that spot? Nope, never went back to that spot.
You should.
Again, it just something felt wrong, and I didn't want to ever go back there. I didn't like the feeling I had when I was in that camp, and I never wanted to go back there. So you
should take a buddy and bring a couple magnums and just go in there for an update.
I often considered it. I actually, the biggest thing I considered was going back and turning that dirt over and seeing what was under that dirt.
Was it a mound?
It wasn't mound. It was almost like you just took a shovel, and you took a scoop and you flipped it, and then you took another one and you flipped it, and you just turned it over, and you made almost like a rectangle shape. And then I came down and found the camp that was completely, abandoned.
Well, now the brain can go really dark, be like, I don't know, all of a sudden you're pulling up some chopped up parts and femurs
that's what
and
I'm
shit.
Saying. So I'm like, I don't know, dude. I can't go back there, And so then and that was early 2000s, and maybe 2001-ish. And then I, balls to the wall on hunting and fishing, and never had any other encounter or, incident of any kind.
What's the nearest town to there? Just in case somebody's listening.
Jersey Shore, Pennsylvania.
All right, there you go. So if one of those people are listening, there you go. We found your spot.
Yeah, northern Lycoming County. So, I don't know. I don't know. And then
is that a game pole? Was it a hanging pole there anywhere?
No. Nope.
Usually that's everybody builds. That's like one of the first things they make.
Yeah,
is
so that's why. And then literally, that's why I thought it was base camp. Some guys came base camp in their rifle hunting on, because it's very remote. I mean, you go back in the mountains, there's nothing there. There's no roads, nothing. The only way to access that spot is literally you put in down below, and you got to come up the train tracks with a canoe, and then jump across the creek in a canoe. And then you have to go up into the woods and make your base camp, or you have to come down off the top, which is a monumental hike. Which I did because I didn't want to come across. I didn't want to come across the creek at dark by myself in a canoe in case it would tip over or something like that in the middle of winter. So I was like, well, safe route. I'm coming down off the top, and I'll just hike my way down in. And so that's what I did. So that originally I thought it was base camp but it was not a base camp. No, so
what else you had happen?
so then I actually have a bunch of pictures. I don't know if I can send you them or email them back to you.
Apparently, this thing does screen share. I had a couple do that the other day.
Okay.
You got to find it. I don't know where the hell it is. I'll look. I haven't done it myself, but what do we got? Script, share, bottom. Looking at the pictures right now. So what I'm seeing is that you top left, I'm guessing?
Yep, and it's again, a trail camera.
Yeah.
All right, so this will help give some context to the next. This is definitely a Salve interaction, 100%. So there's a tree there that's shown. It's I don't know if it was an old Indian tree that was bent over and then grew, or just a big tree that had broken and then another one grew out. But it's a unique tree.
Right.
I don't know if you can see that. And then there's a picture of my daughter when she was younger. We would hike into this spot and took a picture of her up on the tree so you can kind of get a scale of it's a pretty good size
right
tree.
I gotcha.
It's a very cool looking thing, unique. And I don't know if it's if there's a significance to that tree or not. Right. So keep that in the back of your mind. But so we live by state forest here. So now now we relocated to Eastern Shore of Maryland and on the coast, and there's state forest down here that's by my house. It's roughly 15,000 acres. And then I was a member of a gun club that adjoined to that state ground that was 1,200 acres. So there was a good piece of ground down there. In summer of 2022, 2021, my wife, my daughter, and I decided to go for a hike. And there's trails down there all over the place. I think they probably were old skiddered roads back in the day when it was logged. And then the state just maintains them as access roads to go back in now. And you can hike and guys hunt back in there. So I was, we were walking, us three were walking back this one trail. And we had our dogs with us. And we got about halfway back in this trail. And clear as day, we hear a whoop. I mean, a vocal, just a straight vocal. I mean, just like you hear anybody's whoop, just like that. I mean, and we all three stopped in our tracks. The dogs stopped in their tracks. And I was like, by this time I was already into the subject matter and in the know. And I turned wide eyed to them and I'm like, did you all just hear that? And they were like, and my wife's like, yeah. And my daughter's like, no, there's no way. And I'm like, I'm telling you, there is nothing out in that direction besides the river. And then on the other side of that, there is nothing. And there's no homes, there's no roads, there's nothing out there. And I was like, and it was within a couple 100 yards of us. So I was like, no way. That was clear as day, a whoop, and not an owl, not a, we weren't mishearing what we heard. My daughter was in denial that she actually heard it to this day. She'll deny that, no, it wasn't it, Dad. But it was plain as day. It was a single whoop, a loud, crisp, clear whoop. And there were no other cars parked on any of the parking spots or any of the trails when we came out, because that's one thing I looked for. Could this be a person? Could somebody have been back in there? And there was no other human activity from the road in. So there's no way you would have been able to come in the backside and in, because you have to come in a lot of woods and fields and then over a river and then into that wood lot. There's no way. It's not possible. Right. And then again, no person knows that we're walking at that particular moment in time on that trail to whoop at us one time. It's just not realistic. Gotcha. Right. So that happened in the summertime. So then in that spot where I showed you the tree, is across the road from where we heard the whoop. And I hunted that spot 2 years prior in archery. There's always nice bucks in there. And you park on the road and you go back an old skidder road, and it goes back in and it turns to the right, and it kind of goes down into kind of a creek bottom, and it goes back, and there's actually a little ridge in there, and down here everything's flat. So when I found the little ridge, I was like, "Ooh, this is good because now I got a high point, especially in the rut. The bucks are going to be running that higher point, scent checking down below. They can visually look down below. They always drop scrapes on that little ridge." So I was like, I like this, and I hunted. I've had good luck in there, and so I thought I'm gonna go back in there. So I hunted it the year before, and I had a really nice 8-point in there, probably 120s, yeah, maybe 120s, and I would say 130, but that's pushing it. And just a solid deer. So I thought this year he'll be obviously bigger if he's still in there. So I went in, scouted it, never signed. So I decided to go in there and hunt it one day. Well, when you first go into that woodlot, it's all laurel. It's thick with laurel. Like you can't, it's impenetrable. Like you literally, the skidder road went around the laurel to where the actual hardwoods are because it's just a jungle.
Wow.
And when you go in there, it's just very spooky because like it just has a vibe about it because it's just dark, it's overgrown, and it's just a spooky looking section of woods. And once you get up behind it, it all opens up and it's nice. But getting through that section, it's just very ominous. And but I was just like, there's good bucks in here. I'm hunting a spot, and so I go up in this particular day. It was an evening hunt, and I go up in and I'm following sign, and I want to get up on that ridge, and I want to look to see what fresh sign is up there. And this was the start of the strangeness. So as I started getting up onto that little knoll, I just started to feel like an oppressed feeling, like that I was being watched. I shouldn't be there. Something was off. There was just I had a sense of that I just shouldn't be here, and I just shrugged it off as like, whatever, I'm hunting. I want to be in this spot. No big deal. So I continued pushing through and got up on that knoll and was scouting around. And this was a weird find. I found the buck from I'm pretty sure it's the buck I saw last year, dead, perfectly laying on its side, every bone in place, not a shred of hide, hair, meat. The bones were bleached white, but every bone was perfectly placed. There was no predation to the skeleton whatsoever. Down to its tail, the vertebrae going out the tail.
What?
Dude, this starts again the highest strangeness.
Was there any hair there laying on the ground?
No, that's what I'm saying. There was nothing. And so I'm like, And so I'm looking at this buck.
Right.
I'm looking at this buck, and I'm thinking, why haven't the squirrels chewed his antlers? Why haven't they chewed any of the bones? We don't have. There's some coyotes down here, lots of fox, lots of eagles, lots of vultures. Nothing touched this deer. This carcass is perfect, laying on its side, and every bone is in place. It was the strangest thing, dude. So I'm like, yo, I'm gonna get the deadhead, right? It was a nice buck. So I picked up the right side. He was laying on his left side. So I picked the right side, the skull up, and he was missing the left side. And so I looked at the left side of the skull, and his left antler had been ripped from his skull.
Ooh.
Yeah, and the antler was nowhere to be found. But so I'm pretty sure that's what killed this deer. And if you looked at the skull plate, you could see where it had fractured off, and then you could see like the layers of bone.
So the pedestal was ripped off?
Yes, everything.
No shit.
Ripped right out the skull plate. And you could see the fracture in the skull. And like I said, the skull itself, you could see where it had been pulled away with such force that it actually separated the bone. And I'm like, now what in the world could have done that? So as the crow flies, the road is probably only I don't know, 200 yards in a straight line from this spot. And we snake our way around to get up in there. But if you were like, as the crow flies, and I thought, well, maybe he got hit by a car out there and the antler got stuck in the grill of the car. And as the car was going forward, it ripped it off. And, he had trauma, but he still was able to get as far as he did before he succumbed to his injuries. But then I just thought it would have been weird that like none of the other bones were touched. Like the antler wasn't chewed on, no mice, no squirrels, no nothing were getting the calcium out of this. Like it was pristine. It
Right
was
to
just
the tailbones. That's
right
creepier than shit.
dude, it was crazy. And I'm just like, this doesn't make any sense. And so I decided I was going to take the skull. And so I did. And I said, I'm going to continue down to this creek to keep scouting out to find a spot I had a portable tree stand on my back and my backpack and everything that I was going to find a spot and just climb it and hunt it. And so as I'm going down through this woodlot, again, this sense of like foreboding and like I shouldn't be there was just really oppressive. It was almost like if you're about to go into a panic attack, it was like I just felt something pressure, extreme pressure. And like something was being projected at me to say, you need to get out of here. You need to get out of here. And I just kept shrugging it off. And this was before I even looked into like people having this kind of like experience or having these things projected on them. And so I thought, I'm going to go back to the base of that hill where I found the deer, and I'm just going to hang and I'm going to make a set and see what happens tonight, see what anything comes through. So I go there and I have my climbing sticks and I put them in the tree and I go up, hang my stand, and I get up there and I have my safety harness. I strap in and all this work to sit there, and I sit down and I still feel like I shouldn't be here. Something is telling me I'm not supposed to be here. And I noticed the woods got deathly quiet. I couldn't hear a car. I couldn't hear a cricket. I couldn't hear a frog. I couldn't hear a bird. There wasn't a wisp of wind. I was like in a vacuum.
Right.
And so I'm sitting here, and then all of a sudden a tree, and it's been dry, no storms, no rain, no wind, and trees do fall in the woods. This massive tree fell. I'll say got pushed over, but crashed in my direction, probably within, 75 yards of my stand.
That'd make you pucker.
It made me pucker really hard. And I literally stood up out of my tree stand and I, physically said out loud, okay, I'm leaving. And I literally scurried down that tree and packed up my shit as fast as I could. And I got the hell out of there.
Right.
And that spot, it took me 3 years to get enough courage to go back into that spot. And I did it for my own mental health, because after that experience, it was really hard for me to like go in the woods and feel like something wasn't there.
Yeah, that sucks.
I had to kind of overcome.
Get back on that horse.
Yeah, it's really hard, and like I said, it took me 3 years for me to get enough courage to venture back into that spot. And I did it on the most bluebird pristine day in muzzleloader season, because I wanted to be armed 1 year. And I went back in there and it was just beautiful. It was pristine. Birds were chirping, sun was shining. There wasn't anything weird or crazy happened when I went back in there. But that moment in time when I was in there, something was pushing on me I shouldn't be here.
Yeah. Did you go look for that deer skull or skeleton again?
So fast forward to a couple of days after that encounter or event, one of the pictures I send you there is a trail cam picture of what I call an orb. So you just see there's a white light, almost looks like a flashlight shining. Mm-hmm. And then there's a picture of a doe and a raccoon, the same picture, and then there's another one that's just empty for just context.
It's a pretty big ball of light.
pretty big ball of light. And then you can see myself with a flashlight looking at the camera to what a person looks like when
Right.
the camera's shot, right? So a few days after this event, when I still had the skull, this is on my property. I have 5 acres, that I had gone down to pull my trail camera cards, and I had that light on the trail camera. And I'm like, I don't know what it is. I've seen the bugs and the rods and the way, you know, they flutter through the camera and make it look like a thing. And
Yeah.
I was like, all right, is this a flashlight? I kind of zoomed in on it, did some editing, and I can't find any outline of anything. All I see is a bright light. I
But
don't
his
know.
bugs is pretty obvious, and spider webs, right?
Yeah, and it definitely has distance. It's definitely in front of that one sapling. So it's just it's again high strangeness. So I thought I got tugged, you know, by whatever this thing was that didn't want me there, and I took this deer skull, and now I got bad juju, you know, and so I was like, you know, I pull this camera. I'm like, is this truly an orb? And you know, did they follow me over to my property? Because I'm only about 15-minute drive from where this happened to where I live.
Oh, really?
And so I was like, you know, did they follow me over here? You know, did I get, you know, like Carpenter? Did I get tugged? You know, did they follow me back to my property? You
Once
know,
they know, you know. That's all she wrote.
exactly. So, you know, I did the, you know, whole like, you know, if you're here, you know, I don't, you know, don't want you on my property, and, you know, speaking out, you know, to the ether. And I still do that when I enter the woods to this day.
Same.
You know, I'm just here to hunt, and I don't want to meet you. I don't want you to meet me. You know, I don't have any desire to, you know, have an interaction. I'm just here to hunt, and, you know, so I did that over my property, and I just felt away with the deer skull that I ended up having to get rid of it. I just felt like I shouldn't be possessing this for whatever reason. I'm not super into like that kind of mentality
Yeah.
of things, but I just felt, you know,
You know what? If the gut says do it, you do it.
that's what I mean. Yeah. I mean, you know, First Nations people always have like a lot of, you know, history and stories of things having energy that carries with them. And, you know, there's certain things we don't touch or we don't interact, or we respect that and we let that alone. And, you know, maybe I did something I shouldn't have whenever I removed that skull. I don't know. So I thought maybe
You
my
had
best
shit
interest
going on
to-
before that, though.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So I thought maybe I just shouldn't have this in my possession, you know. So I ended up taking it back to the woods and, you know, basically getting rid of it. I felt like I shouldn't have that in my possession. And then go forward to that spring, me and my son are turkey hunting about a mile from that location. And we came out the woods and we're walking through, and I just happened to look over the woods and I see this asterisk, the best way I can describe it. And here's this tree structure that doesn't belong. And even I said to my boy, I said, "Did you see that?" And he's like, "Yeah." And we looked at this thing and it just didn't fit the woods. And I know blowdowns and I know storm damage and I know, you know, uprooted trees. And this thing was woven and stuck together. And
I'm looking at it right now.
yeah, it just was like, this is not natural. And if there were more of them around, or there were other kind of like trees that were twisted together, I would be like, okay, that kind of makes sense to where, you know, this something happened with storm damage or, you know, snow load, and there's nothing else in that woodlot.
Yeah.
It just stood out like a sore thumb. And I'm like, you know, what are these things? You know, is there a connection between that event, this? There was a tree that was bent over that was woven into another tree. There's a picture of my boy standing by. The tree that it's under literally fell not even close to where it would have been able to grab that tree and tuck it underneath itself.
Yeah, it's impossible.
It's impossible. So that tree was bent over and then stuck underneath of those trees. So and they're not big. It's not like mind-blowingly huge structures like you see out in, British Columbia or these places, but it's just, again, high strangeness where like nobody's coming back in this wood lot, hundreds and yards, thousands of yards off the beaten path to build a teepee or an asterisk. Like it's too out of the normal.
I wonder why they do it, or even, you know what? Who knows who's doing it? We don't have anybody saying, I watched the Sasquatch weaving all these live trees together. Said nobody yet, so we're only speculating. But even then, why?
Trail marker, position. Maybe it's a location of portals, or I have no idea.
To do with energy, directing energy.
Maybe, yeah. There's something in the ground there. There's quartz in the ground right there, or something. And
we had somebody a little while ago say it's a nursery. That's where they leave their young ones to keep them safe. Like,
well, again, show me the proof. Show me the data. Then, like, where's the data that shows it? Like that's evidence of that. But yeah, it's just again the strangeness of like shit I see that I can't explain. And and then I've had there's a video there of an orange orb there that I see these orange orbs out over the ocean. Can't explain them. I've seen them 4 times now, and they pulsate.
Oh, really?
On. Oh yeah, dude. Like I've seen 2 of them from my truck. I got one on video that I actually spoke out to, and it came on. When I say come on,
no way.
Yeah, so like the first time I saw these, I was driving home, sitting at a red light, and I had looked out over the horizon, and I see these 2 amber orbs pulse on. So they were staggered, and they pulsed on. So they went from there was nothing there to they pulsed bright, and they moved right to left together in unison, and then they pulsed out the same way they came on. And I sat there and was like, what in the heck did I just see?
Shit.
And I was completely dumbfounded by it. So I was like, okay, that just happened. So, I mean, fast forward months and months, I'm coming down my road, and my road literally will run into the bay, and then you have the ocean. And I'm looking at the horizon line, and guess what I see? 2 orbs flash on, move horizontal left to right, flash off, pulse off. I'm like, no way. So I fly down to the water so I can get, no trees or anything. I can clear bay view of the sky, and sit there, and I don't see, they don't come back. And then again, I'm driving down my road right at dusk, and I see this orange amber light pulse on directly in front of me, and I was like, that's it, I'm going. And I just shot down to the water. This one I ended up seeing, and it moved, and it came on and off a couple of times, pulsed on and off a couple of times. And I was like, there's no way I'm seeing this. And I went to school for aviation maintenance. So I know airplanes, I know navigation lights, I know, all of it, and landing lights, all this stuff. This is not aviation. I have the flight tracker app on my phone. There's no planes out here over the water whenever I'm seeing these. And so now I'm hunting these things. And so the one night I come home from work, and I'm coming down the road, and I turn on our driveway, and I stop in our driveway to get the mail. And I look out over the tree line, and I see what looks like a satellite. So if you see the satellites at night, they look like a star, but they're moving. So that's what this looked like. It looked like a star, and it was moving left to right, and then it did that. It did a 90-degree hook and went vertical. And as soon as it did, I was on my phone with my wife. As soon as it did that, I said, I'm going down to the water. I just saw something. I don't know what it is. So went down to the water, looking out over the bay, and sure enough, amber orbs flashed on, pulsed on, and I tried getting it on video, and it pulsed off. I mean, these things, they last seconds. I mean, it's so fast and random that to have a camera right there at that exact moment is extremely hard.
Yeah.
And so another one did it, but it did it farther off to my left, and I couldn't get that one on video. That time I had my phone up, and so then I said, if you're out there, could you please show me one more time? And the video I got you, it's very quick, but you'll see a light kind of come on and then go off real quick. That's the orb pulsing on and then disappearing quickly.
Creepy.
And creepy. I said, thank you for letting me see that. And yeah, I can't explain that, man. And then it was so funny because my wife took a new job and her boss actually lives on the bay about 10 minutes from us. And they randomly got talking. And guess what she said she sees on a regular basis? Those orbs out over the water. And she's got them on video. Yeah. Wow. And she showed my wife the video. And I was like, I told you. I was like, I wasn't making this up. I was like, it's crazy. I don't know what it is. So do
you think they're coming up out of the water?
So what the ones I'm seeing aren't physically, I don't see them coming in elevation out of the water. They're already in the sky and they just pulse on. And then they'll move and they'll pulse off. And like I said, and they're amber. They're always an amber, orangey red color. It's absolutely, it's crazy. I don't know what they are. I can't explain it. I tried getting them on video and it's really hard. I got that one, kind of dumb video, but it's as quick as I could get it. I'd like to see what videos my wife's boss has.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's
crazy how popular it is for now for people to see these balls of light all around the planet. I mean, it's really popular lately.
I mean, you guys have them out, everybody, they're all over. You've seen them, just moving through the trees. Like what is it? That to me is just as mystifying as, encounters and the stories and what these, beings are and why does it seem like they always are around each other?
Well, there's a whole world going on right beside us that we're not allowed to be a part of.
100%.
A whole freaking world.
Yeah.
And I almost wonder sometimes if there is a veil between us, and there's sometimes it's just like the clouds in the sky. Sometimes that veil just has a thin spot and shit goes down for somebody. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm in the conspiracy world. So, I mean, you go down like, they say even with like CERN, that the stuff they've been able to do with like even that and us, man, being able to manipulate space time and open portals, that there's a you end up getting a bleed over, when you do that, and then that can create not
those
only
crazy bastards. See, that's what happens to people that didn't grow up hunting and fishing. They go do all that other stupid shit.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, we spend all our time in the woods.
Gain of function. Hey, I just found this deadly virus. Let's see what we can make it do to be way more deadly.
Yeah.
Right, you stupid inbred loser. You should have went fishing and hunting when you were a kid. Now look at you.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's crazy, man. I don't understand it all. I'd love to. And that's like my journey is like, I don't know. I'm always looking for answers for
real world, man.
Yeah,
real world shit.
When it comes to the Bigfoot topic or UFOs or anything, even when it comes to my daily local life, like why is things happening the way they are? Why is man manipulating this? And
this lifetime is absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's insane.
Right? It's absolute insanity. You couldn't even script this and sell it in Hollywood. Nobody would even take a second glance at this real script.
Nope.
It's too far out there.
Half of Hollywood's pre-predictive programming, right? They're conditioning us for what's to come. Like Contagion, the movie. Man, that was right out of the playbook of the virus. It's like
they're conditioning us all right to argue about whether a man's a woman or not. Holy shit!
It's disturbing, dude. I just saw a thing that they had I don't know if you know who Kyle Seraphin is. He does a podcast. He's an FBI, ex-FBI whistleblower. He's a good guy. He's a good listen. But he was doing a thing where they had this at the Met Gala. They had some transgender, handicapped dude up there, and it was this great thing because it's this transgender handicapped person, and it's everything's twisted. Everything's twisted, it's a shame. It's just a shame that we've gone so far away from truth and reality.
Well, like I say, it's that recipe. It's that recipe of control. I'm thinking that as of late, all this dog shit that they've gotten the majority of people to focus on is probably, maybe, hopefully, it's just their last strings of maintaining that mesmerizing control. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay, all right, well, we got them scared about that ozone layer, but that's like back in the 80s. We got to ramp up our game to get these people talking about something else, to the point now it's just arguing whether a man's a woman.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's acceptable to have a man dressed up as a hooker reading a story to your 6-year-old kid in a room.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, let's get to their last absolute desperate strings of clinging to the control, I hope.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I think that there are a lot more people being made aware. Thankfully, we have like alternative news media and outlets and platforms like YouTube and others that, information can get disseminated even though it's being controlled.
Yeah.
And channels get shut down and everything. But, if you're out there and you're seeking the truth and you're willing to put the time and effort into looking for it, you'll find it.
It's by sharing the truth. You're gonna go out there and look for it and share it. You better put on the shield and a little bit of armor, because the shit's gonna come flying at you, right?
100%.
What'd you do? You're a dad. Could you imagine a 50-year-old man dressed as a hooker alone in a room with your kid reading a story? How long would that guy do that after that?
Yeah, it wouldn't last long. I would probably be in jail for assault.
Right, like they had this shit going down here. My neighbor's teenage son had to go. He got a job for summer camp here in the town here, and they had to all have a meeting, and they had to all be able to recite the 17 different genders.
Yeah.
Before they could start their school job at the summer camp.
It's absurd.
Shit. You know what? If I had any kids and that happened, I will guarantee you that man would not dress up as a hooker in front of kids again.
Nope. No. I mean, I'm thankful our school district is very conservative, and for the public school system, it's very good. But yeah, I mean, there was still a lot of times where my kids would come home and say certain things. I'm like, yeah, again, you have to run them through the deprogramming of like, no, that's off base. That's not right, and, which, we did. And my kids, like I said, they're very grounded and rooted in truth and reality. So like, but there's a lot of kids that aren't, and
imagine, can't call your mom anymore. It's birthing person.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's absurd. Like everything I said everything is twisted. The bad is good, and good is bad, and everybody embraces evil, and it's
almost like there's a bunch of shitbags in a small room with joysticks betting each other. Okay, watch this. How much you guys want to make a bet I can get her arguing about this? They're like, no, that's a little over the top. No, I'm going to go for it. Watch this, and they're doing it.
They're doing it.
Holy!
And who's holding them accountable? Nobody. How many arrests have we seen in the United States for? All
There's the big one for me.
Place,
oh my God! You got to be kidding me.
Nothing.
Is that amazing?
It's absurd. It's amazing.
They better ramp up the game. If there's a handful of people like Nino, he's firmly behind it. He says arrests are coming. He's been saying it for a while. I'm like, dude, it better happen pretty quick, because this is getting a little repetitive.
Man, it's all getting brushed under the rug.
That Fosse and his gang. I mean, they should have been upside down over flames a long time ago.
100%. Lock them up.
Right?
Lock them up.
Hundreds of thousands of children have gone missing.
Yep. And there's no, we'll talk about it, but we won't do anything about it, Yeah. And, it's sickening. It really is, and it's tough because, they say, well, your voice is your vote, right? That's what you can do. You can vote. Well, okay. Look how that got us, right? Well, you vote the lesser of the evils. You try to put somebody in there who say they're going to do these things and hold these people accountable and release this information, and no, they don't do anything. Nothing happens.
Popular meme I seen the other day was if voting made a difference, it would let us do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
About we obviously we could bullshit about all sorts of topics, but I gotta say, even though, to add on just a quick blip, the politicians that opened up your southern border, they should be in jail.
100%. Because
that's not amazing. For a Canadian, and Canada stand to watch. It's like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah, you call them illegal, right? Well, that means you broke the law. Just by being here, you broke the law, you
What?
know?
I'm scared to cross the border in my boat to Washington State, even by 20 yards, because it's against the law, and I don't want to
Correct.
get in trouble.
Correct. But they're like
Meanwhile,
open
I
arms.
could have just flown direct to Mexico, hiked up through the border, got a loaded credit card and hotel room, and partied out with my friends for a while.
Yep. And a phone. And a phone.
Yeah, right. Oh my
Yep.
God! Then you see those psychopaths. I remember those two young guys. I shared their video and they thanked me for it. They did that. They did the journey.
Yes.
That they did the journey through
Yeah.
Central America all the way up.
That was
And then they
Mudrucker,
see.
wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
And they're watching that one sleazy piece of Middle Eastern shit. I don't give a shit. There's good people in the Middle East, but this one dirty bastard in the States already. Look back, you'll see who I am shortly.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
They're here,
Anyway,
man.
yeah.
They're here. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and
the
then
enemy is
all
definitely
along that
within.
trail was UN signs suggesting for which way everybody should travel. I mean, we're talking. You don't even suggest that moms with babies cross the road when the light's red.
Right.
But you're going to send them on a 100-mile journey through the jungle where people are dying nonstop and encourage
Yep.
mothers to take their babies and their children on that trail. The UN did that. Well, the
Yep.
UN's absolute ground zero evil anyway.
Yep. Yep. No, man, you're preaching to the choir. Like it's
Yeah. Listen, Usko, we could obviously go off for quite a while,
yeah,
right? It's not
yeah.
too hard.
No, I want to be careful too because I don't want to say anything that get you in trouble or demonetized.
I don't give a
You gotta
shit. I
edit
figured
the
out how
whole
to get
thing.
around it. Right? When they were spanking me during the bullshit COVID era and deleting me, and then all of a sudden I realized, oh, so it's just the one channel that gets spanked, but not your account. So if you have another channel, you can still let it rip.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. And that's how I got the second channel going, and now I just keep it alive just for
Yeah.
for the day when they do delete me off of this one, which they will. But
They
whatever.
will.
I wonder what's coming. It's got to come to a head.
I don't know, man. I mean, with this Iran war, and I mean, I'm hearing, about the global famines that may start taking place with the fertilizers shortages, and it's just I don't know. I mean, I don't know your views on the Israel, but Israel runs the United States, the Zionists, the whole thing, and it's just.
I'm not scared to say it. They should be turned into glass.
Yeah, I can't stand Israel, and it's just
Not the people. Not the people.
not the people, the government.
The parasites.
Parasites. That's correct. There's good, like you said, there's good people everywhere, and it's not directed at the people. It's directed at the powers in control that are making these decisions that are genocidal, that are, and it's both ways. It's people.
Unbelievable.
People
Well,
say
you look
that-
at how deep they've infiltrated your government. It's absolutely
100%.
mind-boggling.
and they say, well, Iran's the biggest sponsor of terrorism. Isn't the United States?
All you got to do innocently, without having. I don't have in a way, I don't have an iron in the fire, but I do because I'm a human being on the face of the planet.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if you, just get a list. Get a list of the countries invaded by other countries and who leads.
Yeah, and how many regimes have been overturned by which countries?
Well, it's all the ones that went against. They were trying to go against a petrodollar. Look what happened,
exactly,
right?
exactly.
So that's what's going down.
Who's the biggest terrorist of them all?
Yeah. Meanwhile,
So,
yeah,
it's
we can
crazy.
obviously we're on the same page. We just reciting, right? Just like you said.
100%, 100%.
Yeah. But of course, I don't think the channel has too many people that are still thriving in offended culture. I don't know. I still seem to be able to pull a couple out from behind the closet the odd time.
I think the majority of them, when I see even the comments I read, like everybody's very like-minded, So it's also refreshing to have a pool of people that view the world through the same lens. It's good.
Well, I remember in the beginning, I was going at war in the beginning in the background with a lot of those sons of bitches, right?
Yeah.
Proudly won.
Yeah.
So anyway, but back then, like I would intentionally say things to draw the offended culture out, and then it's just like a gaming thing for me, right? I intentionally say a few things which I knew would trigger your brain if you're a weak little thing, and then I go through the comments every few days, and I'd go, oh, there's another one, delete block. Oh, there's another person from offended culture. See your ass later. Never, gone. And I started getting them out of here, right? And then but I made a point because I can't. I'm a fighter by nature. I can't. I'm a weakling when it comes to the or back then I was a bit of a weakling when it comes to the comment section because I read a million good comments and I see one coming out and attacking people and I just want to go at him. And I'd say, okay, that's it. Don't read the comments. And I still got it in me to not read the comments, but the odd times when I do, it's like, holy shit, it's overwhelming good in there.
Yeah, for the most part, it is. Yeah, most part, everybody's supportive, and it's like, it's very like, I mean, in the community, like they'll offer people to pray for each other when they're,
That's
people
huge.
going through stuff. It's huge, and
huge power
in prayer, and so it's very refreshing to share a space with people that are aware, awoke, and share the same convictions as you and
brave, honest people, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't get any better than that. Nope. Brave, honest people.
Nope. Yeah,
but it goes to show you. That's why I don't cater to I just don't. You probably, if you watch my follow my hunting shit and stuff, like I've met a lot of people over the years that want to be in front of that camera.
Yeah.
And I've made a point not to cater to any of those people.
Yeah.
And there's true power in giving every single one of us the exact same time to shine and the respect, right?
Right. And again, that's why you've sort of earned my respect, even though like I've never met you. And it's our, first time. It's super cool because like your genuineness and having, to do that is you're a principled man. And I respect that because I share the same convictions, right? Of, we all put our pants on the same one leg at a time, right?
Right.
And it doesn't matter who you are, and nobody's more important than anybody else, and everybody needs to be heard. And nobody's story is more important than anybody else's. And
that's why it's almost bewildering to me right now how so many people get respect because of how many people follow them. It's like, huh? It's so weird to me.
It's stupid. So
bizarre.
The vanity and the self-glorification that just oozes out of social media and society, and and then the younger generation is just that they think that's what life is about. How many views that I got, how many likes do I got?
Isn't that weird?
I mean, there's been documented cases of kids suiciding themselves because they didn't get enough likes. Like, how simple, weak-minded have we become as a society? It's
so bizarre, dude. So bizarre, man.
It's insane. So
that's how this all shit started. I started the How to Hunt thing. I was back with, I'll guarantee you know who he is, one of the biggest names in promoting products on TV for hunting. And I was up in the Yukon with the piece of shit. And he's trying to get me to lie.
Is he a Canadian?
Oh, yeah. You know who. And he's trying to get me to lie to the client.
Hat a lot?
What's that?
He wears a cowboy hat a lot?
We'll call him Full of Guff.
Okay, yeah.
So anyway, he's trying to get me to lie. I already had we have a lot of what do you call it? My brain's farting. We know a lot of the same people over the years, way before he got there. Anyway, I don't want to make that about him. I'm just saying how I got to the How to Hunt thing. We're up there and he's trying to get me to lie to the client to get him to pound this 3-year-old frickin' grizzly bear that probably still has a drop of milk left on his chin, right? Tell him that's an 8-foot bear. I'm like, what, you idiot? It's a guppy. He's probably got a drop of milk on his chin. Are you kidding me? And he got pissed. And then, anyways, it went worse than that. It was one day I'll tell the story because he took a shot at me online. Took a shot over my bow saying that they fired me. Which was not the case, and I out-hunted his ass by 50-1 easily. Not that I'm slinging my dick. I'm a professional guide who guys like him pay for, right? But anyway, I left there. I quit because the deal was we were supposed to guide these 2 guys from Michigan, and they were brothers, and it's supposed to be this big scenario. Never hunted area before, ever hunted before. I'm like, well, we're in cabins. Pretty sure the cabins were here before we got here, right? Anyway. Where is it going with this? Oh, so the deal is if you're an outfitter, say in the Yukon or BC, but if you're not a BC resident or a Yukon resident, you can't hunt there without a guide.
Okay.
You can still run the business. So anything that person has to shoot, he has to be guided, even if it's his own territory. By me at the time. So the real gig was get these, quote, assholes, they're stupid moose, and get them out of here, and then we're hunting. Right? And I'm like, huh? So anyway, I was supposed to do 3 weeks after that with him and this other moron. And I looked up the other moron on YouTube. You're not going to believe this. And this guy was trying to be him, and he had a show too. The guy's got these shooting sticks. He's got clean Wrangler jeans on, bomber jacket, and a cowboy hat, and a shooting sticks and a rifle, right? It's real time. And he's lined up, and he pounds this mule deer, like just a mule deer. Pounds this mule deer. Didn't even bring his gun up the sticks, and he looks at the camera and goes, "You got to be a special kind of tough to pull off a hunt like this." And it was supposed to be me, that little douchebag, and full of guff douchebag for 3 weeks. I'm like, no, everybody will be dead by me by week 1. There's not a chance in hell. I'm out of here, and I left. But anyway, I'm babbling. But I got home, and I'm like, how the? And I was in Alabama with a buddy of mine, watching the Outdoor Channel. I don't watch hunting TV because I know what really goes on with a lot of those shows.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh my God, this is, and everybody, all my buddies in the States that got the Outdoor Channel going ripping nonstop. It's in their shop, in the house, whatever.
Yep.
And I'm watching this dog shit. I'm like, oh my God, how can we? I just got to figure out how the hell can we share the truth with people and get them to stop following these lying douchebags and save them money and show them like, I go, hey, you know that clip where they got the canoe paddle over their head and the mist and the moose is coming in and it's all freaking cool as shit. And they're like, yeah, man, yeah. Well, what he's actually telling you is moose are so stupid, you can walk up to them with a canoe paddle over your head. And I'm going to show you guys how to do it too.
Yeah.
That's a big difference, right? And I wanted to show everybody, enough of the bullshit. So anyways, I'm rambling, but that was the very beginning of where we are today.
And that someone from like my perspective, again, like being in the outdoor industry as a young guy, like I saw the Outdoor Channel celebrities. Like I can name the shows. I was at the Outdoor Expo shows with them. We had booths, right? We were in the game call side, but you could plug it in any game call company, the big boys, right? And all those guys were the most arrogant bastards you've ever met. I mean, you're talking about like they thought their shit didn't stink. And like
I know, it's hilarious.
It's like they walked on freaking red carpet, and it was like, and it was funny how the hunting community worships them. And it's like,
if they only knew, right?
Yeah, there's nothing special about them.
But if they only knew what really went on with a lot of those guys.
Yeah, it's crazy, you know. Or it's just so again, you've earned my respect because I can see, you know, the principles that, you know, you have when it comes to even that stuff. It's just like,
oh yeah, appreciate
it. I'm not falling for this.
Now, did you ever go to the World Turkey Hunting Championships in Lacine, Kansas?
Though not in Kansas, the ones were in Nashville whenever I was calling.
Okay, so we went. We went in that thing. It was pretty good.
It's cool. It's big venue.
Yeah, like Toby Keith was there one year. We went all 3 years that competition was on until COVID wiped it out.
Yeah. So
when I was, everybody was there. I went and filmed with Eddie Salter and Realtree and those guys a few times.
Yeah.
I can tell you some stories afterwards when we're not online, and then a bunch of the Mossy Oak guys and shit. I'll tell you some shit that got on. It's like, good God. But I'm the Canadian in the South, right? And I was heavily mixed with a bunch of these guys, but yeah.
I've seen them all. I mean, so I got out of it, but I mean, I don't know if you know Walter Parrott and Matt Moret and the Kirbys and, you know, obviously Michael Waddell. And I mean, when they were all
there too, right?
Yeah. When they were all younger competing, I was calling, they were older than me, but I was calling in their division against them, you know, and some of them were, and sometimes I'd beat them and sometimes they beat me. I think a lot of it was manipulated to make them win. There's been time where I was calling in front of the curtain and I could see through it. And so it's like, well, how do you know my sound over his sound? But you can definitely see who it is, right? And then they win the grand award, right? So I ended up getting out of it because I thought halftime was rigged. And, you know, but yeah, so like I was around those people and this, I don't know, it always left a bad taste in my mouth for that industry then. And I wanted nothing to do with it because it was just, I don't know. For the longest time, I wanted to be I wanted to make a living in hunting. I wanted to be on the Outdoor Network. Like that was, I was filming myself. We were filming each other, friends and my brother, and we were like, man, like maybe we could make it. And then you come to find out, like those dudes, they didn't come from humble beginnings. Most of them, they all had money to start, or they had an in somehow, and it's just they had some factor that put them there. It wasn't it had to be just a boy growing up in rural PA to be doing that and make a career out of it. It wasn't gonna happen. Not gonna happen.
Tough slugging, right? Because the majority of the guys that are in front of the lens, they're doing it for like a couple of ball hats and a pack of broadheads.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
And the fame. I just want fame. I want
Right.
I want to be in front of that camera.
Right.
I
I just want to kill bucks. I just want to hunt. And
Yeah, I've
document
always
it,
loved. Yeah, I've always loved filming it myself. Like way back in the day, I used to put aside money on payday to pay for my VHS camcorder
Yeah.
camera
JVC,
from the
baby.
rental
I had a
shop to take
JVC
steelhead fishing or
camera.
hunting. It's just a lot of film. I used to make myself. I'd force myself to hang a video camera off my neck with my binoculars for years before I ever started sharing shit online and the internet came up. I don't know. I filmed as much. I've got probably, I don't know. I've got a stack and a couple of boxes of external drives with hunting content that I filmed innocently over the years, right? And then, but like you said, when I first come out of there, like I just had enough. That dude was the straw that broke the camel's back. And then I'm like sitting there and I go, we should do a TV show. We should do a TV show with no sponsorship and subtly slap everybody in the face with the truth. Do you want it?
Yeah.
And that's how it started. And that's when I soon realized, no, you get into a TV show, you got to be a psychopath first off, right?
Yeah.
And then you're only going to be able to get a couple packs of broadheads and a ball head out of it in the end. But you're going to be famous. But anyway, and then it went from there. And then I'm like, I realized, holy shit, we're the professional guides. We own it. You can't even challenge us on shit. We own it.
Yep.
Right?
All they do is pull the trigger.
We own the knowledge.
Yep.
Cool. Then I was going to do an old school DVD thing. I was going to get all the knowledge from all the guides that I know have got 20 years plus of knowledge. And I was going to suck every single answer, every single scenario question I could come up with of every species I could. I was going to question these guys and get the number one answers. What are you going to do if? Right? And then I was going to put all those answers into a DVD thing. And meanwhile, I was contracting in Whistler, which is like this. It's like Hollywood in the north, right? Whistler, and I was doing this job for this gazillionaire, and I was after this monster buck. This is after 4 years, biggest buck in BC, easy. And I strapped a tiny Sony Handycam onto my stabilizer, my bow, and I swear I was going to stick him on video, right? But I never told my customers that I hunted. Like I did Sarah McLaughlin's place, we did Gene Simmons and Shannon Tweed's place, and Sarah McLaughlin's like a huge tree hugger, and I'm telling her, don't anybody tell her I'm a hunting guide until I get this job done and get paid, right? And anyway, so I just kept it low key. I didn't show it around town where I was contracting Whistler, and then it started to snow, and I was putting my bow from the back seat of my truck into the front, and then I was going to leave early and go hunting, and then all of a sudden I hear this, hey, what was that? I'm like, look up, there's my customer on the deck. This guy's worth millions. Down. Like, what the hell was that? Nothing, man. No, wait a minute. Come down there. Let me see what that was. And I pulled the bow out. He's like, holy shit, this is a bow and arrow? And I'm like, yeah. Make a long story short, I told him what I've been doing, guiding all my life and what I was doing. And then he goes, oh, man, you got to get with the times. DVDs are out. And I'm like, it's like your dad, you're a kid and you got this great big idea. And you're like, yeah. And then all of a sudden your dad comes out and pisses all over it, right?
Takes the wind out of your sail.
And like his business, he was in competition with GoDaddy with another similar business. And he's one of those monsters, we've met him a million times, where nothing's enough. Like the guy's worth millions and millions and millions. He just comes out of the bathroom freaking out because he just made $5,000 profit on flipping a domain name. I'm like, really, dude? You got 3 kids and a beautiful wife, and you're just dedicated to making the dollar.
Yeah.
I learned that at a young age. That was ridiculous. But anyway, he goes, no, you got to stream it. I didn't even know what streaming meant. I'm like, what do you mean you got to stream it? Well, look at these guys over here. And I look over, and here's these SUVs we'd see all over the place with snowboarder.com or snowboarding.com on the side. And I go, yeah. And he He goes, look, all they're doing, they had a subscription website and they were filming how to do snowboard tricks and had a subscription website online. Those suckers worth over $20 million.
Crazy.
I'm like, what? And he goes, yeah, do you think they're putting a DVD in their phone going up the chairlift to review that trick? And that's when I got clued in, and that's when it just kept on going on and on. And next thing you know, I'm making an app to put all the knowledge in, and then I'm trying to figure out how to let everybody know, because I didn't want it to be about me. I just did all I can do to not resemble any of those guys, especially the number one douchebag, right?
Yeah.
It can't be about me. I don't want to be about me. Well, you got to show the public what you've done. You got to show them who you are. I'm like, I don't want to. Anyway, it's a bit of a struggle. I know I'm babbling here. I might as well keep going. But
yeah, you're good. You're good.
Yeah. So then what happened? That's when I finally learned that I have to be promoting my shit online and letting people know what I've done and what we're doing. And that's when everybody started bugging me. They're going, hey, you seen a Bigfoot or Sasquatch? And that's how it happened. And then at first I'm like,
organic in the
right?
Yeah. And I think that again is what makes it special, because it wasn't like, hey guys, I'm doing monster whatever time, or I'm doing Bigfoot searches, whatever. It was so organically developed.
Yeah.
That's what makes it special. And isn't
it weird isn't it weird? And I never said subscribe,
crazy.
like, or share once. I probably told more people to fuck off on here than I have,
That's what I mean. And that organicness and originality is just like, dude, it's like super, it's hard to find nowadays, to find genuine people. It's hard to find that organicness, and and I think, you're like, it's crazy, like how this has grown and the amount of people. It's because like we gravitate towards that because it's so few and far,
Well, it's online saturated with bullshit. So I guess the timing must have been right. Everybody's just done with the bullshit, right?
Done with it. Yeah.
Yeah. Including me.
And again, I'm tired of hearing like the same old people walking around call blasting and banging trees and doing stupid shit. I want to hear what that person next door had happened to them, because similar to what I had and what they had, and it's crazy. It just keeps developing. And
now, what do you think was on that route? What do you think the true motivation was for those absolute? I got a problem saying it. Absolute lying douchebags who did the Finding Bullshit TV show. Like, what do you think motivated them to keep talking to everybody like they're 7 years old and keep feeding them bullshit? Blatantly.
Obviously, so it even comes down to me, like when I watch like Skinwalker Ranch show, which I don't, but it's stupid. It's
never seen it.
Everything's made up. I'm not made up. It's edited for ratings, right? So the Finding BF was like, that Discovery Channel made that for ratings.
Yeah.
And so, they wanted to make things more entertaining than what it was. So like, let's go out in the dark and let's bang on a tree and let's make ourselves seem like experts in this field, right?
Yeah.
And, ruin the credibility of actual people that are having true encounters.
Ridicule them, shut them up, change the stories, or delete them.
Here's a good one for you.
What the fuck?
So old Matt was, my daughter took a cryptid class in college 2 semesters ago, I think, and they did a Bigfoot section in there, and her professor is friends with him, and he actually came on to do Zoom conference with the students, and my daughter, because of myself, started into the paranormal side of this whole topic, and he shut her down like right away. And I told her he would, but like wanted nothing to do with it. He's like, no, they're an ape, and there's nothing more to it, and very condescending, like, oh, who are you to ask me or come at me, with questions like this, because do you know who I am? Do you know how much time I put in the field? And
as much time as you took snorting coke, you fat sack of shit.
Yeah, much time as you ruined other people's careers and discredited people and hid information and hid evidence and destroyed evidence. And again, it's because they are the go-to authority on the topic, right?
Yeah.
And
Oh
so
my God.
because of that, they control the narrative. They control the information. They disseminate it. They control the evidence. And
Not
so,
anymore.
not anymore. But there was a time when they did, you know. And
Yeah. Well,
again,
you know what? I just caught a by accident, lost his time in my life, and one of those little midgets from that show. I woke up before my dog woke me up, and I just put on the earbud and I saw this stupid headline of a video on my phone. Right, I'm like, all right, I must have been a bad person today. I better punish myself for a few minutes. And I listened to this little fucktard, and he's absolutely spewing lies through his teeth smoothly, but like he's addressing a grade 7 class, still doing it, still blatantly lying this little midget ass face off. And I'm just like, holy shit, you little douchebag. Seriously.
I think that works when people haven't taken the time to, invest in looking for the truth themselves.
Yeah, but why? Like, how'd they get motivated? How much money? Whatever the hell? Something went down there. They signed on that dotted line where they're committed to carrying on this line of thought for who knows how many years, right?
Now, my question is, maybe you know this, did he initiate that organization, or was he somehow just took it over? Like, who originally started that?
I had another woman back in the day who was heavily investigating the shit out of them, and she showed me the whole timeline of the government, money, the website, and the whole nine yards allegedly coming together at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, and if you think about it, I mean, the Smithsonian, I mean, you got to put on your cap of like the control of the information, right? And
you're not getting on TV if you tell the truth in anything.
No.
You're not.
Hell no. And if you go against the narrative, because again, if the government comes out and says that these things exist, they possess abilities that we don't, and they're not an animal, right? We can't control them.
That's right.
What paradigm shift does that now open up for everyone?
If we gain those skills, it's game over, and they're going to be upside down over a big fire.
Over. And I'm convinced we had them at one time. 100% we had them at one time.
Absolutely. That's what I keep telling everybody. We know the truth already. You know the truth. Your gut knows. Get in tune with it. Make sure we hear every single word from everybody, and you already know. Nobody tells you what's up or not.
Right. And I think, too, like there's still people have still skills and abilities. They're not as honed or sharp, but they still possess some of that stuff, and that's the people that can do the mind speak and can, do the remote viewing and other things like this, have telekinesis or whatever. They still possess some of those traits that we lost a long time ago,
Had suppressed out of us, what I mean?
100%.
I'll just get one more little comment on the previous topic, and I'll drop those pricks. But remember back in the beginning, because they were getting people, strangers, hey, man, they're coming after you with so-and-so, and they're using so-and-so, they're coming after you. And I'm like, fucking bring it on.
Yeah.
Like I sent that one person, we sent him a satellite picture of his house.
Yeah.
Privately. Hey, let's get it on. You want to meet up somewhere? You know what I mean? But anyways, what I'm getting at, aside from that, is all that disruption that I did against all those organizations and all the things I said in your face, F you, you lying sons of bitches, right? Not one of them ever tried to get contact with me once. Yeah. Guilty.
Yeah. Yeah.
It'd be like you.
Yeah, imagine if complacency is an admission of guilt, right? Like
if you were a good guy, you're talking about shit online. I come online and start shitting all over you. And you know you're a good guy. You go, hey, you're going to get a hold of me right away. Steve, dude, we're off. No, you're misunderstanding. No, this is right.
Yeah, 100%.
If you're guilty, you're going to avoid me like the plague.
Yeah. And for me, I'm a principled guy. So like, I want to defend my character and
right.
My name and like.
Your motivation is all for the good.
Maybe I interpreted something wrong,
Right.
Maybe you can help me correct it. And like, I'm open to different points of view and like, right. But, to just write somebody off and then to start spewing anger right away. It's a dead giveaway, man.
And then trying to get me to shut up.
You're over the target. You're
trying to get me to shut up.
Yep.
That's what I kept saying.
Truth's coming out.
You guys just filled up my forever gas tank, you dumbasses. The best thing you could have done was never repeat my name, never get anybody after
Yep.
me, just pretend I don't exist.
Yep.
Nope. You fell right into the trap and made it yourselves, you dumb fucks.
So,
Holy shit, they're
so the
stupid.
only one, like, I think, like, and again, this is awesome that you had this, opportunity, but like Bendenagel, you were able to meet him. And I think out of all, like, say mainstream, he was probably
big
the
names.
most kind of open to, he wasn't such a hardliner. You know what I mean? I don't know. Cause I mean, you would have met him personally, but
True kind soul, that dude. True kind, true
He seemed
gentleman,
very
true
genuine.
kind soul. He answered every single freaking email he ever got from everybody.
yeah,
They
he
phoned him,
seemed
right?
like
But
a very genuine man.
yeah, I don't know. I didn't spend too much time like back then. And back days was like too close to the time where I seen that thing looking at me right there. And then, and my grandfather coming forward, even like those days, I was telling John, I go, you know what I'm going to do? This is easy. I'm going to go make a decoy that looks like one. I'm going to go up the coast, one of those big grassy inlets, put him in the middle, lay in the grass right there, and a camera will get it. It's a big piece of cake. Right? And then he's like, it's true, John. Oh, yeah, well, it might work. It might be good. It might work. Right? Now you look back, it didn't take me too long to figure it out that was, there's something else. That's another thing, too. If you didn't have a clue about this topic and somebody was chucking at you what's up, how long do you think it would take to figure out something really crazy is going on?
Yeah.
How long do you think it would take you?
I mean, if you're really looking at the data, not real long,
Half a day?
Yeah, if you have an open
Today.
mind, you're gonna come up with
maybe 2 days.
Yeah, that's why people are stuck on this. There's that there's some kind of ape or any like there's no way. There's just no way. Like you can't.
No, 99% of the people that come on here say it looked like a man.
Look like a man. Yeah, and
99%.
My personal belief is they have to be some interdimensional. They're definitely a people, an ancient people. Obviously, your favorite First Nations talked about them, and every tribe has a story of them of some nature. They all have a name for them. There's something to that, and then they hold them in a high regard and almost in like. And not in the same as an animal. I mean, even like the totem poles, how they're structured in the totem poles and things like in their culture and history. And, what are they? That's my biggest thing. And you get the Nephilim topic. And I'm a Christian man, grew up that way and stuff. But like, I don't know. I can't rest my hat on that definitively. I think that there's a plausibility to that topic, but to say that that's the one and only, I can't. I don't know. I don't have that data. I haven't came across research yet that supports that as being that's it. I'm 100% convinced of that.
I think. Well, for me, I've realized. I think this channel has taught me the importance of making sure I thoroughly listen to everyone, as many as I can.
Yeah.
And then it should come together.
Yeah.
If it's going to be confusing, it's probably going to be the most confusing, and it is confusing. It'll be the most confusing moment of our lives when we possibly do get that puzzle full, and we got to accept that, you just got that missing piece. Now what do you think?
Yeah.
Right? It's like, I think I'm insane. But
and maybe we'll get it sooner than later. Maybe the disclosure will kind of come and someone will release that information, or I don't know.
we've got a few people that have gone the deep dive for a long time, like our friend Rob Duvall that comes on here quite often. He dove into this topic. He's a very, very credited. I mean, this guy's got credentials coming out of his yin yang, his real name, and he dove in for over 30 years, and he's traveled the world, and he's definitely set on one answer. Not maybe one, but he's got it figured out for himself pretty good. But I don't even know I'm babbling about him. But I'm saying, and he was buddies with Melba too, right? We was working alongside him trying to help her out. And but when the Vatican is trying to shut you down, You know, they played a big role in helping those douchebags in the Bigfoot world annihilate that innocent woman's life.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just, I donated to the Genome Project myself, my own money.
Yeah.
That's
You
how
know what?
strongly I felt about it.
All she was doing was doing her job. That's
Yeah.
it. She's just
Yep.
going forward. Well, this is what it says. Get her.
And
Get
that's what
her.
I mean. When I get the genome, we have a missing male. It's female, human female DNA, and unknown male. It's just not in the bank. I get that, but why isn't it in the bank? You know, what is it? And then again, why would the church come after certain individuals? Again, why would we hide this? And that lends me to believe there's so you have good and evil. If it isn't good, it's evil, and if it's good, it's of Christ. If it's evil, it's of Satan. Right? That there's two ways. That's it. There's no in between. So like, if the church wants to shut something down, well, why do they want to shut it down? I don't trust the Vatican as far as I can throw it. Um, but you know,
You mean you wouldn't let them babysit your kids?
hell no. Like what? Like the mountain in they got the best observatory in the world in Arizona. And no one's allowed to go up there to see what they're looking at in space, and it won't tell anybody what they're watching. You know, it's just
We're
there's
too
much.
busy protecting chicks with dicks.
Yeah, exactly, or trafficking people
Yeah.
under the disguise of Christ. But
You know,
yeah,
one thing for me coming up with the answer in the last few puzzle pieces for me, because my gut rules everything. My gut rules my daily. I've learned that one. My inner instincts rules every single decision I make, no matter what. And I've got a lot of opportunity to go out in the woods and say, all right, come on over. Let's just sit down and hash this out. But
Yeah.
something is making me hesitant to go take that step. What is it?
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like I say, I'm trying to come up with it because there's got a whole shitload of people. No, there's good ones, there's bad ones, just like
Right.
human beings.
Right.
Oh no, they've done nothing but good for me. I get it. I'm listening to you, and I am listening to you, and I'm taking note.
right.
But why is my gut screaming at me not to go do that?
Yeah. No,
I don't know.
I agree. That's where it's same with me. I'm on the fence with that as well because I struggle with how far do I want to push it? Do I want to try to have an interaction? Do I want to try and go to places that are hot spots? Do I want to, I mean, like the Arizona 4, right? Like I talk with them.
Great guys.
Great guys. But would I want to sit in that camp? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how far I'd want to push it. Like I said, we got to be careful what doors we open.
Well, the other thing too about that, I just think they're great guys. I guess I'm looking forward to. I want to go sit at that campfire and chuck shit back and forth for a few nights. It'd be great, and hear how they've gone through life, and hear what they're doing, and hear how it's affected. This is great, but I'm not going to go sit in that chair with my mind going, okay, come on over here and touch me.
Yeah.
I'm just going to go there as an innocent guest. Those guys hang out and observe and see what happens, see what my gut says. But I'm not going there going, okay, I'm going there to talk to these beings and let them in my head. I'm on my way.
Yeah.
There's a difference, right? It's like when I go, you see where I go hunting.
Yes.
And I know I can admit this with myself. It's almost like I'm intentionally going to the hot spots by myself. In a way, I'm trying to go, no, you're not going to steal this from me. I know you're here. You know I'm here. Just F-O and leave me alone. I'm going hunting.
Yeah.
But there's still a few other spots that like that place, the stand. Did you ever see that stand that I built?
Yes, I remember that.
I don't go back there. I don't go in there.
See, that's how I was at this one spot, and then I had that same mentality. I can't go back to this, and I was like, I'm just doing it. I'm going to do it, and if something gets the boogeyman gets me, he gets me. Like I'm just doing it because it's. There's been times where literally, Steve, like I woke up in the morning to go hunting, and I didn't go because my anxiety was so bad to walk through the woods in the dark that I want to do it. Like I literally bought an EMF reader to take with me in case it goes off. Right.
I haven't done yet. I keep forgetting to do that.
I'm like something's if I notice or hear something or Scott Carpenter always said about like that. So like I literally went and got one. I'm thankfully never had it go off for me in the woods, I've had it go off really weird. We went to Gettysburg and Battle of Gettysburg, the battlefield, and I had it pegging at the one spot in the one evening. I mean,
No
just
way.
screaming. It's never gone off, and it was pegged, and it was the lights were all lit up, and it was beeping. And then we'd walk away from that area, and it would stop, and we'd go back. And when again, there was other like people that were there that had another reader, and theirs was going off. I'm like,
What the hell?
dude, something is here right now. I don't know what it is, but something's making these things go off. So crazy, but I take that with me. But yeah, I mean, I just have like, it changes your perspective that there's something out there. And,
Yeah.
for me, it was like, I have to get over this fear of like, being in the woods. And it's just the dark, like what's in the woods and dark is there when it's daylight. You know what I mean? There's no change.
I know.
And,
That's kind of creepy too, right? But it's been impregnated in us over
Impregnated us.
generations to get
Yes.
out of the woods at night. Yes.
Don't go
Get
in
home
there.
before dark.
Yeah, don't be in there. Don't be in there. And
Get
why
home
is it?
before dark because everything that's there was here during the day.
Exactly. Exactly. But it's gonna get you. It's gonna get you now that the sun's down.
Right?
So yeah,
Isn't that
so you have
freaking
to
weird?
get over that fear. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people in this community. It's completely changed their point. Like they can't even go out in nature anymore.
I know some hunters who don't even like driving by trees.
Yeah, yeah. It's a shame.
Trashed them.
Yeah, and it's like I wasn't going to let that happen to me, and that's why I forced myself to go back there.
Yeah.
Because I didn't go back as a kid into that spot where that thing was screaming, and I was falling into that same hole with this, and it was starting to affect what I love to do. And I was like, I'm not going to be held hostage by this, right?
Yeah.
So it took 3 years, and every time I drove by that lot of woods, I always thought about I should just go in there and get over it. I should just go in there and get over it, and I never did for 3 years. And then I finally went back in there, and it was just beautiful woods, beautiful nature. There was nothing there.
Imagine
And,
if you couldn't go hunting anymore. What would you do? Golf? Shop?
Man, I don't know. I don't know. I don't like golf. I don't know.
I'd jump. I'd just jump. Take
I don't
me
know.
now.
I guess I'd fish. I'd fish more. I don't know.
Watch reality TV?
Yeah, exactly. Be stuck inside. I don't know. But
God,
yeah, I
that
feel
would
for those
suck.
people. It's terrible.
Imagine the whole real world ripped away from you for life. That's all she wrote. Say
Yeah.
goodnight. You're not going out there anymore. Done.
Yep. And
What a
so like that's
violation.
again for me is like I question it. Like, well, why is it there? Why was it there? What are these things? Why did I feel this way? Why was I so scared? What was taking place? And then I just again I look at it like the shark. When you start to learn about it and you hold it and you touch it and you start to understand it, humans fear what we don't know, right?
Oh, yeah.
Our fight or flight survival caveman primitive, what we don't know, we run away and hide or because it's a survival instinct, right? But when you have an understanding of it, doesn't make it less scary or less dangerous but you can respect it more and you can understand it. So like what I've learned on my walk and research and through this, if I would have another interaction and I would hear sounds and I would hear vocalizations or knocks or something like that, I know how to better interact in that case than just panic and freak out.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, like I can be like, okay, that just happened. Then this is probably going to happen. Oh, there's one over here whistling and distracting me because I know there's another one over here that this one's trying to get my attention. I'm understanding what they're doing. And so I can see the patterns and I can start to dissect that. And, again, knowledge is power. So it's like, I'm not scared now. I'm understanding it. I respect it. I'm not going to push it, but I understand it.
Yeah.
So.
You imagine I would like to see the results of this somehow, but imagine having balls so big that you're in the woods and all of a sudden mind speak comes in your head and says, get out of here now, you're going to die. And you go, bring it on, you big hairy frickin' lint ball.
Yeah.
Right? And then you keep going forward, and the next thing you know, a great big 5-foot fir tree goes knocked over in front of you. Oh yeah, watch this. Then you boot a sapling beside you. Do you know what I mean? And just ramp it up and go, bring it on, fur bag. I wonder what would happen. I
maybe they
wonder
would
what.
respect that. I don't know. Like they'd be like,
I don't
all right,
know.
you
Right?
know,
You imagine?
you earned my respect. You know, we can be friends now. I don't know. Like I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
Or they
Nobody's done
rip
it
you in
yet.
half, and you know,
It's like when those two things were beating on the trees above me, and that was right where the stand was in the swamp. But I was trapping wolves in the wintertime. I just looked straight to the ground, my snowshoes, grabbed my rifle, my axe. I snowshoed to my snowmobile, and I had to turn it around on fresh powder. You know how it bogs down when you get
yeah,
stuck and you got to pick up. I'm like, oh my God, please let me turn around. Please let me turn around. Because it's dead end road. And then I got out, and there's a long straightaway. I'm not going to lie. I pinned it, and I didn't look to the left, and I didn't look to the right on purpose because I didn't want to see something paralleling me doing 40 down the.
that was that the encounter where you had your quad on the back of your truck, and you came up and you turned around and you saw one in like your rearview mirror.
No, no.
No.
I don't think that was me.
Oh, I thought you had an encounter where you were on a road with your truck, and then you got to an end and you stopped, and then you saw movement, and then you're 100% positive it wasn't like there's no dudes up here.
Oh, yeah. No, that wasn't the time. I remember that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was that creeped me out, dude. Like same as you. Like I'm just gone. I'm gone.
Now, I've
Like
had a lot of shit happen, right? But not,
yeah,
I mean, not as intense as that thing 10 yards, 15 yards. I mean, it's right there. There's an angle like that. He's right there looking at me. And I
that
still
was
had 45 minutes to get out of the woods by myself.
yeah,
17 years old in my bow.
yeah. That's
That sucked.
I'm thankful. Like I haven't had anything like that. I mean, I probably shit my pants. Like physically shit my
Yeah.
pants.
Well, the snowmobile one, like, because before that, there's another guy that guided with us up north, that big outfit I guided for years. This guy's a true cowboy, mountain man, tough SOBA type dude, right? And he was in Alberta on his snowmobile, and this huge reddish brown thing was pacing him beside him on his snowmobile like nothing.
It's crazy.
I know.
Yeah.
That's why I've always, because it's somebody I know and trust told me that, right? So it's,
Yeah.
that one's really stayed in the back of my mind, and that was all that was in my head when I was on my sled pinning it from those things beating on the trees. And like, no, I don't need to see this right now. I don't want to see this. Leave me alone.
Here's a question. Maybe just your opinion. Why do you think the Pacific Northwest holds the highest encounters? BC, Washington, like what is it? Is it just the remoteness and vastness of that region, and the not as populated with humans, or like
I
what
don't
is
know,
it
man.
about that seems to be the place for this?
It does, but you got to think, what about Tennessee and Florida, East Texas,
Yeah,
Ohio?
yeah, and maybe it's like subspecies of like like
Is
like
it?
turkeys, right? There's 5 subspecies or whatever. Like, is it like a sub? Or are they the same, or because they can dimensionally travel, they're not held to? That's
I
what I
don't
mean.
know.
There's so
There is
many
another
questions.
possibility that we possibly think that way is because like John Green, he threw down roots in Harrison, BC. And then you got Rene DeHinden. He was all around BC. Everybody was constant in the original days. Everything was concentrated around Northern California to BC.
Right.
And that's where the hype started. So I wonder if possibly, maybe in the end, it's made us think that this was possibly ground zero. But I mean, I don't know, because now I've got 40,000 people have emailed me.
Yeah.
Holy shit, man. Like,
Everywhere.
there's a lot of places that are, it's almost like, man, you want to, I'm almost to the point, I live right in the middle of them. But I'm like, man, you want to see a Bigfoot? Go to Tennessee.
Yeah. Yeah.
Go to
No,
Florida.
I mean the mountains. Yeah, I agree. But it just like I guess documented cases.
Yeah.
It seems like
I don't
out
know.
there.
It's
It's
something
crazy.
I think, I don't know. I don't know. It's confusing. Does water have something to do with it? Do you know what I mean?
I don't know.
I don't
No,
know.
I go to like I don't know where you fall in like David Paulides and the Missing 401 and stuff. I admire him and his work and his Super Project and all his research he's done, and like a lot of his data points that he takes in. The boulder fields, the water. There's always environmental or ecological type things that
slash energy.
something, right? The
Yeah.
granite, quartz. Like there's always these things that are intertwined with either disappearing or, and if you listen to him, he'll openly say he doesn't believe the disappearance are correlated to Sasquatch.
Yeah.
But there is something about that environment and where their sightings have taken place in the same, there's a connection, but there's not, he doesn't believe people are being taken by them, but there is a connection of some kind and it could just be, where these disappearances take place. I don't know, but like he's somebody I take information from all kinds of people.
Yeah. Well, our friend Robert Duvall, I forget. I mean, dude, you think how much information I take in on a daily basis, right? It's sometimes
more
just
than I am.
It's confusing for me to repeat word for word shit that I learned 6 months ago. But he did email me with some details about how he definitely found. Is it the electromagnetic ley lines? Is that a thing on the planet? I think he's referring to.
Yep.
He totally found a complete connection.
Interesting.
With that.
Yeah, that's also another thing I heard is ley lines. And again, that's why I carry that guy because.
Yeah, so like for me right now, I'm really leaning toward a whole nother existence going on around us, and sometimes some geographical areas, the right days, the stars and the moon line up, and that veil is thin right there for an X amount of time, possibly. Yeah. Possibly, because you know how many times these reports have shown that these beings, they hit the dirt, all of a sudden they're seen like that. They're referring to that one woman who wrote in about the thing, her son thinking she saw somebody riding a horse out in the back of their property by the pump house. I keep referring to that one because it's a classic example. They're in the tight valley, timbered valley, and you know as well as I do, it ain't hard to figure out where the humans are at nighttime when you're up in those mountains.
Correct.
Right? And then all of a sudden, you're right smack dab in the middle of somebody's private property, the bottom of that valley, and you're looking around and you're scooting along tree to tree like, oh shit, I got to get out of here in broad daylight.
Yeah.
That doesn't mesh up. You're way too intelligent. How'd you get there all of a sudden, and now you're trying to get out of there in broad daylight? If you got into this valley, you had to come up and over the top of that mountain.
Right. And that's a lot of what debunks the animal theory. There's no way this is an animal because just that alone, like, you had to come from somewhere. It's just not. Yeah, it doesn't work.
Yeah, with just the reaction doesn't mesh up for me if something has been here the whole time.
Correct.
No way. There's no frickin' way. And then another one, well documented in northern BC, where I was pipelining years ago, and it was like minus frickin' 30, 40. These two guys are on the oil derrick thing, the drilling rig with the pipe, the long stack, and the flame comes out of it nonstop to burn off.
Yep.
And this thing came out of the woods at nighttime, and these guys went straight up that stack, and they were stuck there all night long while this thing slowly walked around the lease, squatting down, looking up, and move around, squat down, look up, and I'm like, well, what the hell's the thing amazed about? Those things are all over the place in the north, and they have been for years.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you come on your first one and go, holy shit, what is this flame? What are those two people up there? Where am I? What is that?
Right.
And that's the reaction from this thing. And it went on for over an hour.
Yeah. No. And that's plausible. I mean, that makes sense, Yeah.
Did you just get here?
Yeah, exactly. Is this the first time you've seen this? Is this the first time you've seen?
Where are you from?
Yeah. And then all of a sudden they pop back through,
And then other ones possibly popped over here and they're like, no, we love it here, man. We vacation here for 6 months out of the year. We've been doing it for years. Scare the shit out of some people, laugh our heads off, and head home.
Yeah. It's like we throw rocks, people get them scared down the trails. Yeah, it's
I got them arguing about what my farts are.
Yeah, exactly. What's that smell?
Right?
It's the gale being, it's the portal closing. It's this, that. Yeah, it's crazy.
We gotta get ripping. We could probably talk for 6 weeks straight, right?
Forever.
You got anything else you want to throw down that you know or learn?
Yeah, they're my experiences, and I'm again just taking in, everything I can to try and figure out, what it is that this world we're living in, and the times we're in, and everything seems to have some kind of connection, as far as like whether it's the UFO.
I was going to add that in earlier too. Everything's connected.
Everything's connected.
Every single thing in our existence is connected somehow.
Yep. somehow. So just,
Do you,
like I said, always looking for truth,
yeah. One more question. Do you know anybody that's seen these things?
I don't know anybody personally that's ever had eyewitness.
No way.
Yep. Never.
Do you bring it up with all your hunting contacts?
I'm more open about it now. I will now. In years back, I wouldn't because I was afraid of being made fun of and didn't want to be.
Yeah, don't do it in a group. Not in those circles. You know as well as I do. Don't do it in an open area.
I mean. So I knew those guys. Like I would totally be that guy, right? Go to camp or something, and I'm the laughing. Everybody's poking fun at me all night, So I was like, I just keep my mouth shut, And so I haven't, now I'm not afraid. Now I'll say anything to anybody. I don't care.
So on the delivery, you deliver it sincerely and look them in the eye, and they know you're dead serious. The guys who know, they'll come and find you. They'll tell you. They might not do it in front of the guys, but they'll tell you.
Yeah.
I'll guarantee you know somebody that's seen them. I'll guarantee it.
Probably they just never or heard something or some weird something had happened or who knows,
Yeah, but I'm at the stage now. If you don't know somebody who has, you know somebody who knows somebody.
Yeah.
I'd bet my life on that.
Yeah, especially if you spend enough time in the woods, like you're going to come across something that's going to, be odd. So
anyway, we got to get out of here. I got a whole day ahead of me. If I haven't got any daytime left here, I don't know. What time is it? 6 o'clock now?
Yeah, exactly. So
all right, I'm going to get out of here, man. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate you big time.
Yep. Keep it up, man. Keep plugging away and keep giving us people's voice and giving us answers. So
don't go away yet, all right?
Yeah, you're good.